finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeene.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,894. Antiwar.com reports addressing the Iraqi parliament's call last week for a specific timeline for all foreign troops to withdraw from Iraq. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said there were no plans at present to leave Iraq and that troops would stay as long as necessary. His assessment was not couched as defiance, however, nor did he take the U.S. position that the deployment is permanent. Rather, he claimed NATO has gotten a written request from Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi to keep troops in the country. Details on this written request are unclear, and indeed, its existence wasn't even made public until now. It is likely that a similar request exists for U.S. troops within Iraq as well, given how reliant on overseas deployments Abadi was during the fight against the Islamic State. The statement by Iraqi's parliament suggests they weren't apprised of this request either, and that inevitably raises the question of whether Abadi is empowered to unilaterally give permission for open-ended foreign deployments, a question that's likely to be raised among Iraqi members of parliament as the deployments get further and further past the end of the conflict with the Islamic State. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Bill Cosby will again go on trial to face rape accusations after attorneys from both sides attacked each other's credibility in a Montgomery County, Pennsylvania court hearing on Monday. Cosby's team, led by defense attorney Thomas Mesereau, whose former clients include Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Robert Blake, said the case against Cosby should be thrown out because the prosecutors allegedly destroyed evidence and encouraged Cosby accuser Andrea Constant to lie under oath. NBC News reported at issue was defense witness Marguerite Jackson, a former co-worker of Cosby accuser Andrea Constant. In a statement, Jackson said Constant told her she could extort a celebrity by accusing them of drugging and sexually abusing her. The prosecutor's investigators interviewed Jackson and were successful in getting Jackson barred from testifying during Cosby's trial, but Cosby's defense team accused them of destroying interview notes. Defense lawyer Kathleen Bliss said they went and interviewed her, so they knew that she completely repudiated Andrea Constant's statement accusing Mr. Cosby of misconduct. In response to the defense team's accusation, Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin R. Still said the defense attorneys are lying and that they should be thrown off the case due to their incompetent and unethical methods, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. After hearing both legal teams shoot each other's credibility, Montgomery County Judge Stephen T. O'Neill was unconvinced by either argument and decided to let the case proceed with the attorneys on the docket. The trial will begin April 2nd. Although dozens of women have publicly accused Cosby of sexual abuse, Constant is the only one who has a criminal case against him. That case ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury last June. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Ford Motor Company said it will temporarily lay off 2,000 hourly employees at its Michigan assembly and stamping plant in the town of Wayne as the factories undergo retooling to build the Ranger pickup trucks and Bronco sports utility vehicles. The layoffs will start in early May and last through October, according to a notice filed by the number 2 U.S. automaker. Ford Manufacturing and Labor Communications Manager Kelly Felker said in an email, employees who are temporarily affected will receive approximately 75% of their take-home pay if they have 1 year seniority Party, adding the affected employees will all return to work either at Michigan Assembly or at another Ford facility. The announcement comes as sales of the Ford Focus small car currently built at the plant have slowed down. Ford had previously outlined a plan to retool the plant for the new Bronco SUV, but had not yet disclosed a specific schedule. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Dick Cheney Vice Presidential Library opens in a pitch-dark, sulfurous underground cave, and a seedless watermelon is coming to grips with the fact it'll never be able to have kids. This is the Onion Week in Review. Following a litany of tragedies occurring over the past year, a report this week from scientists at Princeton University confirmed that 90% of the Earth's atmosphere is now made up of thoughts and prayers. Researchers confirmed that with the rise of tragic events occurring all across the world each and every day, the Earth's atmosphere is 7% nitrogen, 3% oxygen, and 90% emotional pleas begging for everything to be okay. In other news, a new study finds nothing that will actually convince you to change your lifestyle, so just forget it. UMass Dartmouth is beginning to regret offering a course in applied domestic terrorism, and a sparrow thinks it might have caught the bird flu after puking seeds all morning. Stay tuned after the video for a brief tear in the fabric of space-time, offering a glimpse at next week's Onion Review. And keep checking theonion.com for more.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
All right, welcome here to Free Talk Live. You are welcome to call in and bring up whatever it is that you would like to talk about. Of course, we bring some of our own stories in to discuss, but this is talk radio that is controlled by you, the listener out there in the radio audience. Today, right now, it's me, Will Coley, from the Call to Freedom here.
And me, Johnson Rice, from LibertyMinded.com.
There we go. Ian's not here right now. He's going to be a little late. No, we were not smoking cigarettes in the studio. Thank you very much. I just happened to have some medicine in my finger when I came in to pick something up. Thank you very much. I don't smoke cigarettes. I haven't smoked cigarettes in, it's been 8 months now since I stopped smoking.
Who is asking that?
Oh, we've got Discord people over here. So, and you know what?
Discord? What's that?
Discord is our new official, chat, so to speak. You can actually come into the Discord. You can listen to our audio stream. You can even call into the show. So go to lrn.discord.com and check us out there, or you can go to twitch.lrn.fm as well and watch us on our new video stream. They're over on Twitch.
So I found something. I don't know whether or not Ian has let this drop. I think he mentioned it slightly. If you are an Amazon Prime member, you have a free subscription to Twitch already. So there is a method, if you're on the mailing list for Free Talk Live, you'll get the method for how to do this, but you can probably figure it out on your own if you're an Amazon Prime member. But you can sign into Twitch. They give you that free, Twitch premium subscription because you're a Prime member, and then you can use that to support your favorite Twitch broadcasters. So you can go in and you can, subscribe to LRN. There's a thing it'll be clear if you're on Twitch and you're looking around Twitch, and that really helps out LRN.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, it's because
I'm a Prime. I'm a Prime member. It's the only way I can watch Downton Abbey.
Well, there you go.
Well, no, we get it because it's got old school Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
And Reading Rainbow.
All right.
Yeah. So
little LeVar Burton.
Yeah. So I pay $100 a year, and that gives us access to that. And the rest of them, some of the movies are okay and that kind of thing, but the big thing for us is the shipping because once we moved to New Hampshire, there's so much that we don't have access to anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That we just have it shipped up. So much easier. Go to Amazon, ding, ding, ding. No, go to the mall. Oh, I need something from Bath and Body Works. Malls? What are those? I'm going to Save It purse.io, loading it up. I'm buying it with a 20% discount, and I'm getting it with 2-day free shipping from Amazon with Prime membership.
The internet is the biggest mall.
I know. It is the biggest mall on earth. You can buy 5,000 toothbrushes if you want, or you can buy one. I love it. It's better than Walmart. So I did bring a story in. It's something that it's a story that we were looking into on my own show, Call to Freedom. It's about this group of there's Somalis that are being deported. Many of them adults, none of them really with criminal records. Most of them with family members who live here in the U.S. Mostly just people who overstayed their visa.
So not Somali pirates, then?
No, not pirates. Not really like a criminal element. Just Somalis who overstayed their visa. Most of them people who fled to the U.S. in the 90s or the early 2000s, who are just basically now getting caught up in these Trump roundups. But it says here in December that there was a little bit of media spotlight shined on the case of 92 deportees. They were on an immigration customs enforcement chartered flight to Somalia. Most such flights unload their human cargo once they land, but this flight, for logistical reasons, actually had to turn around after landing in Somalia and return home, and it brought witnesses back with it. The Somalis told of abuse on the flights, saying they were shackled with chains on their wrists, waists, and legs for more than 40 hours. So we're talking like Cyrus the Virus kind of.
So basically a very long vessel with lots of black people chained up on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. Not just a long vessel with like 100 black people chained up on it. A long vessel with 100 black people with their hands chained together,
right,
and those chained to their waist, and their waist chained to their feet.
So basically, the only thing missing was
together
with some water and some rats, essentially.
Yeah. Well, no, and there was the chain from the neck to the hands that was missing, that you usually see in representations of slave ships back in the day.
Actually, don't they still do that in some cases for like prisoner transport? They might have had that chain.
Well, no, this says just those specific. They specifically list
so they didn't
these
mention
chains.
the connection. Okay,
they don't mention the connection to the neck. So we haven't really gone that far yet. Give it a little time, and I'm sure we'll be putting those the big metal cages, around illegal immigrants, just in case they might take off,
right,
without being caught. Yeah. Oh, anyway, the ICE has become like the modern day slave
retrieval
chasers.
system.
Yeah, slave
exactly.
retrieval system. Says here that they were shackled like this for more than 40 hours. They were forced to urinate in bottles or on themselves, and that ICE officers beat and threatened some passengers. Even after the spotlight dimmed, the abuse continued. Those Somalis, they're still being held at the Chrome Detention and Glade County Detention Center in Florida, as their lawyers are fighting their deportations. At Glade, where half the group is being held, they've complained of a litany of abuses, including violent assault from guards, denial of medical care, and lack of access to lawyers, along with, well, who would have thought in Florida you'd find blatant racism?
I think a lot of people might think that.
Well, I mean, it's not like the national headquarters of 4 of the biggest anti-Muslim groups in the country are stationed in the state of Florida. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
They actually are in Tallahassee and in the Tampa, Fort Myers area. You have Act for America, Stop the Islamization of America. There's a big Zionist group, I can't remember, 2 of them down in the Fort Lauderdale area,
right,
that act as like their anti-racism watchdog groups. But when you really look at it, they're basically just pro-Israel groups that smash on any activist who speaks out against anything that happens in Israel, but also kind of support and push along the anti-Muslim political candidates. Like, you would think by their message they would be a left-leaning group, but most of the support that they put out there is for right-leaning groups. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised even in the slightest that you find racist guards that drop racial epithets. Says here that the guards and the administration up there at Glades, well, they think they're immune. To me, it's so brazen to be doing this. They know there's a federal case. They know we're up here all the time. And they know that there are investigators up here, says Lisa Lenner, an attorney for from one of the groups that's representing the Somalis. They call them the N-word. They call them boy. And they've said things like, we're sending you boys back to the jungle. According to an ICE spokesman in Miami, they've declined to answer questions about the complaints, citing pending litigation. So, well, what do you think? Do you think that we should expect that illegals should just expect to be treated like
human beings?
Like human beings or like chattel? Give us a call, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We'll be right back here on Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Make Ian and Mark fight when I can.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.fm now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's Discord, www.lrn.fm.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
Welcome back here to Free Talk Live. Broadcasting live here from the Liberty Studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. If you want to get in on the conversation, give us a call. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or you can ring in on our Discord call-in line or at lrn.fm on Skype. And, this is Will, and I'm joined in the studio by
Johnson.
And, the cat is away, and the mice, we will play. And, we've been talking about this story here from The Intercept about these 92 Somali immigrants who basically they were just people who had overstayed their visas. They weren't criminals. They hadn't done anything really to cause any problems. There's this huge effort to round up people right now, and they got caught up in the dragnet, so to speak. Most of them have family members that live here. Most of them came here fleeing violence during the Somali Civil War. And basically they were held in deplorable conditions. They were forced to use the restroom on themselves or go in bottles. They were called racial epithets and literally physically assaulted. It turns out that's all by design. According to Rebecca Merton, a program coordinator at the Community Initiative for Visiting Immigrants in Confinement, or CIVIC, they said that there's a logic to this mayhem. The abusive conditions, they eventually wear down the will of detainees to stay and to fight their deportation orders in court. One way that ICE and particularly the Enforcement and Removal Operations, an ICE suboffice, achieves its goal of mass deportation is by subjecting people to indefinite detention in terrible conditions without any source of hope or sometimes outside contact. So basically what they do is they spit in the face of the very words of the founders, because the founders themselves made it very clear. If your feet are on American soil, then you are entitled to the rights and privileges that America offers. And that includes not being treated like slaves.
So there's a photograph in this article, and I don't know if the photographs are from this actual, event or what they're doing, but it definitely looks like there was the connecting chain between their wrists and their feet, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We were talking about earlier. It's there, for sure. Well, maybe no neck shackle.
Not necks,
no neck.
Definitely wrists, feet. They were saying that it went from the ankles to the waist and from the wrists to the waist. And the ankles and wrist were also together. So handcuffed and shackled.
Basically hogtied.
Yes, hogtied.
With metal hog ties.
Yes, metal hogtied. It says that 2 weeks after the failed deportation flight, the 92 Somalis decided they were going to sue ICE for inhuman conditions and egregious abuse, and they asked the court to halt their deportation. As the plane sat on the runway, the 92 detainees remained bound, their handcuffs secured to their waists, their feet shackled together. The complaint, filed by a team of lawyers from the immigration clinic at the University of the Miami School of Law, Americans for Immigrant Justice, the James H. Binger Center for New Americans at the University of Minnesota Law School, and the Legal Aid Service of Broward County. When the plane's toilets overfilled with human waste, some of the detainees were left to urinate into bottles or on themselves. ICE agents wrapped some who protest or stood up to ask a question in full body restraints. ISIS agents kicked, struck, and dragged detainees down the aisle of the plane and then subjected them to verbal abuse and threats. ICE Air Operations is a division of the agency responsible for deportation flights. And, quote, ICE Air Operations personnel follow best practices when it comes to the security, safety, and welfare of the aliens returned home to their countries of origins. There are a variety of enforcement and removal operations personnel on board who ensure the health and safety of aliens and officers during removal flights. I love that term, best practices.
Oh, God.
Because you hear it from police departments all the time when they're like, no, it's totally cool that we shot that kid in the back of the head.
It's just standard procedure.
It had nothing to do with the incident that we were there to investigate.
It's just standard procedure that's aligned with our best practices.
Yeah, we're authoritarians, and the best practice of authoritarians is to lay down the law. And that means sometimes you got to kick the piss out of some immigrants. You got to let these Somalis know, hey, I understand you're fleeing religious fanatics. You're fleeing possible murder at the hands of either an insane government or insane anti-government forces, in this huge civil war that was going on. I understand, but we got to kick the crap out of you because you didn't acknowledge our authority.
I just think it's certainly interesting that they have this organization that had to be created that civic... community initiatives for visiting immigrants in confinement. That's a very specific organization.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that something like that has its very own organization is, interesting.
Yeah. Basically.
Just as it comes down to a specific group needed to deal with initiatives for visiting immigrants.
Okay, and remember,
in confinement, just to be specific.
When people say, when you hear your average Republican out there, like when you're listening to the station that, we're on, that you're hearing us on, that, plays like Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity, and they're like, we just want people to follow the law. You just follow the law, and as soon as you follow the law, everything will be fine. We don't need to make law. We just need to enforce the laws we have because, no reforms. First, we'll enforce the law. This is what they mean, this is what they're talking about.
Right.
This almost happened to my own wife. Like 6 weeks after she gave birth to our second child, the wife of an American, we're legally married to each other, have been for 2 years, but there was a paperwork snafu, and they wanted another $1,500 to refile that paperwork. They didn't tell me any of this, of course. I had to go hire a lawyer. It was about $5,000 is what it ended up costing me altogether to keep them from coming. Basically, you just get a letter in the mail, says, so there was a problem with the paperwork. Your wife has 10 days to leave the country. And your wife should leave the country.
Right.
The implication being armed men will come and kick your door in at 3 a.m. and drag your wife away to a jail cell where she will remain indefinitely in the worst conditions absolutely possible to encourage me to hurry it along, coming up with the money to send her back where she came from. This is what they mean when they say follow the law. Give us a call if you've got an opinion on it, 855-450-FREE. You'll have your regular host, Ian Freeman, when we get back here on Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
According to a report released today, the vast majority of American children lack the presence of a strong, sculpted male supermodel, with less than 4% of youngsters being taught the important values of respecting runway etiquette, maintaining a glistening six-pack, and walking a catwalk with verve and flair.
The number of strong-jawed male supermodels in children's lives has declined to record lows, leaving the majority of our youth unaware of how to get comfortable in front of the camera during an underwear shoot, or even perform something as simple as a sexy but stylish full turn.
Stanton went on to say that impoverished communities were especially affected by the lack of Adonis-like male figures, and added that children in lower-class homes were over 80% less likely to grow into the type of high-cheekboned, studly he-men that succeed in haute couture society.
Quite frankly, these children are just not getting the necessary influence of a dynamic male supermodel who can both make puppy dog eyes at the camera and also radiate that sort of raw, unabashed machismo that forces fashionistas to look up and take notice.
This is the Onion News Network.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. All you have to do is dial in toll free here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And in the studio with you tonight, I'm Ian, joining the show here a little late.
And I'm Johnson.
And yeah, I'm still here. It's Will.
Will is here for an extended marathon session here tonight. You're sitting in for Mark, and then you sat in for me.
Yeah.
And you did 3 hours of radio before you even came in
I am
here.
super radio guy. Only Daryl could compete with me.
So don't forget to check out Will's show, which is called Call to Freedom, and it is 5 days a week on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Hey, plus, don't forget to check out Bitcoin.com. If you are new to cryptocurrency, you need to go and learn the basics, and there really isn't any better place to go to get started into that world as Bitcoin.com. So go there and learn the basics about crypto. If you're not new to Bitcoin and you want to get the latest news headlines, they've got that for you there too. Go to news.bitcoin.com to follow along with what's going on in the very, very deep, interesting, and exciting at a lot of times world of cryptocurrency. Once again, it's news.bitcoin.com. So you guys were talking about this horrifying sounding situation with some folks who were hogtied and put on an airplane and denied access to any kind of sustenance.
Bathrooms, sustenance, being treated like a human being, just normal stuff that government will deny people of and then tell you, well, that's a part of our best practices.
92 Somalis have sued ICE for inhumane conditions and egregious abuse. And this is according to The Intercept, which always does a really good job of reporting. They do a good, deep investigations. And
Call to Freedom is actually in negotiations with the author of this article. We're trying to get her on the air, hopefully sometime next week. We want to get her and that guy that got booed off the stage at CPAC from Cato.
Okay.
We want to get them both in because she's actually an attorney involved in immigration law. I'm not sure if she's actually an attorney for these folks here, but I know she is an immigration attorney. So
I want Miriam Saleh.
Yeah, Miriam Saleh.
All right. So
wait, so which guy are you talking about? Booed off the stage? Which?
You missed that?
Are you talking about the guy who stripped naked?
CPAC, dude.
The guy from Cato. One of the guys from Cato got booed off the stage. They did a. It's called So You May Say That I'm a Dreamer.
Okay.
And that was because they were talking about the Dreamers.
Right.
Yeah. And that was the only panel discussing that. And they had a guy on there from Cato. And basically every time he would state a factual statistic about immigration, the audience would start yelling about Mexicans defecating in the woods. It was just like there was no ability to have a rational conversation because you're in a room full of conservatives and Republicans trying to talk about brown people. Immigrants.
Yeah, they've made up their mind.
Tomato.
They've made up their mind that immigrants are bad, and immigrants from Mexico are particularly bad, according to them. They don't really know why. They've heard some things about them on the radio, which they basically regurgitate because they believe everything that they've heard. Apparently,
actually, I think that's where we were, where we kind of left the story off at, and I think we should get back there a little bit. That Will, you were telling us about the situation with your wife, and how she was contacted after having lived here for how long already?
2 years. We'd been married for 2 years. Our second child was maybe 6 weeks old.
Yeah. Married already for quite some time to a natural, born citizen.
Yep.
You are not an immigrant from another country yourself.
No.
You're not here on a green card. So you were born here. You married someone, and you had kids together at that point.
Yeah.
She'd already been here for years.
She'd already been here in the country since 2005 with no incident.
Was this a decade at that point then, or
no? This was
half a decade,
like 7 years. She'd been in the U.S.
Over half a decade already in the United States.
With no criminal incident. She'd been here as a student.
But wait, all immigrants are criminals, right?
She was here. As a college student.
Oh wait, she was a legal immigrant, yet they still treat legal immigrants like this. Like they're illegal, wife, because they want to make legal immigrants into illegal immigrants.
Some people would want that, yeah.
They literally acknowledged that this was just one incident that we had while she was still a student, because we had to allow her to continue to be a student. We couldn't after we were legally married, we couldn't file our paperwork because if we did, she would lose her student visa, and then she wouldn't be able to go to class.
But
and
it's
she
not
wouldn't have
inconvenient to
any-
come to the United States, right?
She wouldn't have had any legal status at all, which meant no driver's license, no job, no nothing.
I mean, it must have only cost like what, a couple bucks to file the paperwork and to come into the United States,
Right,
Or,
only
like,
for her to
10,000, something like that.
Well,
8,000.
for us, it was easier and cheaper because she was already here.
Uh-huh.
Her parents had already spent thousands and thousands of dollars on having her here. We just were converting her already legal status from that of a student to that of my wife. And just converting that took 8 years and $8,000.
Wow.
And that's
So then-
just the fees. That's not the cost of my lawyer.
The attorney,
That's just the fees. The attorney was another $3,500 on top of that.
And what would that convert to if you were to go through the exchange rate?
Right.
Yeah.
How about what would it convert to if you were working in Africa on a day-to-day basis? I mean, actually trying to earn the $10,000 that it would take to do something.
Well, not only that, but I had to show that I had an income of, because we already had 2 kids together, I had to show an income of $65,000 a year and no debt, which meant I couldn't sponsor my own wife. I had to get 3 other family members.
Wait, you had to have an income of what?
$65,000 a year with no debt.
Or what?
I couldn't sponsor my wife.
deal.
No deal. Because people
What? Because they only want rich people coming.
They're worried that my wife could possibly get food stamps. So if they needed to know that if I fell off a roof tomorrow, I had enough money. I needed to have $65,000 in capital plus an income and no debt. It took me 3 family members to come up with capital and income and debt requirements all together. All of us signing contracts that if my family received food stamps, that they would pay the government back for the welfare they received.
Let's go to the phones here. We can continue on what's happened with the ICE and the 92 Somali victims at their hands. But first, let's go to Dave Ridley. He's on the line calling us on Skype. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hey.
You may have already reported on this because you're probably closer to the situation than I am, but there was, I guess, a moment where I call it sort of a Gorbachev moment, where the mayor of Keene apparently supported Free Keene.
Well, politics does make for strange bedfellows, as some have said. Now, are you referring to the fact that he actually specifically supported not the website, but one of the bloggers, Conan Soliday, who had proposed a ballot measure that could change how the school board structure is set up here in Keene? Is that what you're referring to?
Correct. He's supporting the efforts of someone associated with Free Keene, basically.
Yes. Okay, that's more accurate.
And I didn't know this for a fact at first, but I did, call around about it some, and then the mayor was on the air on WKBK, the Keene radio station, so I just called in while the mayor was on the air and asked him. And he said, yep, he does support that, and he's not against everything Free Keene believes, and that
Free Keene's just a website. This is the way they tend to talk, though. I know you're not talking that way, Dave, but that's the way that the people who confuse individuals for groups tend to refer to a website, Free Keene, which has a collection of individuals on it who do not all agree with each other on everything. We do tend to agree that peace is the way and that we need to move towards liberty, but I don't know if everybody agrees on exactly all the details. Although that said, I think that there's probably a lot of agreement amongst, if you were to ask the individual bloggers at Free Keene about Conan's proposal, because for listeners that aren't familiar, basically the proposal is to make the school board meetings more accessible so more people can come and vote at these meetings rather than it just being this very difficult process that is essentially off limits to a lot of people, without getting into further detail about that. Dave, I don't know where you were going with this, but if you want, stand by. We can continue here.
Yeah,
Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. One of the earliest migrants of the New Hampshire freedom migration here to New Hampshire. It's Free Talk Live.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Phone records, financial and location data, Prism, Tempora, X-Keyscore, Boundless Informant. Hey, y'all, Scott Horton here for offnow.org. Now, here's the deal. Due to the Snowden revelations, we have a great opportunity for a short period of time to get some real rollback of the national surveillance state. Now, they're already trying to tire us by introducing fake reforms in the Congress. And the courts, they betrayed their sworn oaths to the Constitution and Bill of Rights again and again, and can in no way be trusted to stop the abuses for us. We've got to do it ourselves. How? We nullify it at the state level. It's still not easy, but the Off Now project of the 10th Amendment Center has gotten off to a great start. I mean it. There's real reason to be optimistic here. They've gotten their model legislation introduced all over the place, in state after state. I've lost count, more than a dozen. You're always wondering, yeah, but what can we do? Here's something important, something that can work if we do the work. Get started cutting off the NSA support in your state. Go to offnow.org.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and bring up whatever's on your mind. Number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got more on the story that, Will, you brought in tonight about the 92 Somalis horribly abused on a flight that they thought was going out of the country. ICE agents apparently didn't realize it was actually going to turn around and then come back, and then they got held to some account so far. We'll see. Again, this is going on what y'all told me because I was out for the first half hour. I'm a board member of the local public access channel here in Keene, New Hampshire, along with Daryl, and the meeting went a little long tonight, so I appreciate you guys filling in here. As we continue, we will take your calls about what you want. I did mention Bitcoin.com, but of course Bitcoin isn't the only option in the cryptocurrency world. It was just the first, which means they've got a pretty strong lead, but there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there that would love to take the king of the hill from Bitcoin. Now, maybe at some point we're going to see that happen. Maybe even this year. I mean, certainly Bitcoin's number one slot, its position weakened significantly in 2017. And so we may see that change out happen sometime this year. Who knows? We don't know what the future holds. But one of the contenders I would like to think is Zencash. At least hopefully we'll see Zencash continue on and grow in the future, because they've got some great and they just started last year, so they're brand new. They got a ways to go. But they got some really cool things working for them in their favor, mainly some of the best technology out there in the cryptocurrency game. So you've heard about, maybe if you paid attention to the world of cryptocurrency, you've heard about the zero-knowledge proofs. You've heard about the anonymity that those can provide. Well, Zencash, of course, has that. And they've also got, and they're setting up a decentralized or multiple decentralized autonomous organizations to help govern the currency. And that works very well for the Dash organization as well. So they've got some cool tech, and it's also cryptocurrency founded by voluntarists, founded by people who care about liberty and who understand economics. It's a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization, and you really ought to go and do some due diligence. Check it out for yourself over at zencash.com. That's zencash.com with a Z.
It's actually kind of low right now, so I mean, this is not professional license financial advice.
No, it's not.
But personally, with it at like $32 a coin right now, if I had money that I was moving around into other coins, I would buy Zencash personally. It's for me, I'm a huge fan. It's been one of the best performing assets that we own, and I love it.
Zencash.com. Let's go back to Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Dave, you're back on Free Talk Live. What else were you calling about tonight?
Well, there was just, like, I guess you could say that it feels sometimes like there's a little bit of a trend with the mayor, because he also appeared on a debate sponsored by the Keene Liberty Alliance, and during the debate he praised the Keene Liberty Alliance. Really? So there was, this is a little bit different of an experience, in Keene. We're used to the government just hating on liberty stuff.
Yeah, so you're referring to Keene, New Hampshire, which is where the show is produced, and it's where I've lived for over a decade. Johnson, you've been here, what, about 5 years at this point?
Yep.
6, maybe almost?
6, almost 7, I think.
And then
I've been here about 6 months.
Will's the new kid on the block here in town. And Dave, you actually were an original Keene mover way back in the day before I showed up. I think, 3 or 4 years before Free Talk Live arrived on the scene here. You were one of the first originals in Keene.
Yeah, that was where I first landed in Keene. I rented a room from Kat Canning. She was Kat Dillon back then. Now she's Russell Canning's wife.
And so what you've seen sort of the long-running opposition that has happened here in Keene. I mean, and of course, as we've said here on this show, will happen anywhere that you get enough activists together to actually have an impact. If libertarians out there think that you can go out there and try to end the state and that you're not going to have pushback, that you're not going to have the agents of the state doing things to try to stop you from reducing their power and their influence, you just don't know what you're doing. You don't understand the way things work in the world. I mean, the people who are in the positions of power are not going to go quietly away from those positions. They are going to scratch, they are going to claw, and they are going to hurt some people on the way down. If we can have success, it's going to be a messy win. It's going to take time, and there's going to be people who have to make some sacrifices.
I think that was one of the things that Adams really meant when he made the statement, way back when, that, liberty once lost is gone forever. Is because
it's hard to get it back.
Yeah, once it's gone, once you give up a little bit of freedom in the name of security, a little bit of freedom in the name of whatever it is, you are not going to get that back unless you are literally going to have to do as the founders. You will have to take that liberty back at the point of a gun, more than likely.
Well, we haven't done that. Violence, I don't believe, is going to solve the problems. But what we have seen happen is if you are willing to put your freedom on the line and take a risk, then what you end up doing is you end up earning the respect and they will back off to some extent of these bureaucrats. Not always, not in every case, but over time they realize that messing with you is going to result in costly court battles, or it's going to result in bad PR, or it's going to result in something that is.
The gun today is different than it used to be. I see Twitter.
The video camera.
I see Twitter as a far more dangerous tool in the hand of an individual than a 9mm.
Yeah, or the video camera is even better than that. I mean, because then, when we were in there.
No, I would disagree. You didn't need a video.
You can't go on and tweet about what that lady said to you at the Keene City Hall. You had to have video, otherwise no one would believe you.
But
I mean, the woman at the bureau, for people that don't know, you were talking to one of the bureaucrats at Keene City Hall last year about some stupid permitting issue, and she actually had the gall to say to you that you smell like alcohol. Yeah. You, a man who has not touched a drop of alcohol in I don't know how many years.
10, probably.
10 years. Yeah. This woman actually leans over and whispers it to you. But I was running a camera there. So it'd be one thing if you said on Twitter, tap, 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 this is what happened to me at City Hall. And it's another thing if you post a link to where people can see it happen, because it was outrageous.
I think that the Twitter army, even without context, though, has the ability. We've literally seen people be made international pariahs while they're on an airplane. Like, the woman tweeted something, got on an airplane, and by the time she got off the airplane, she was the most hated woman on earth. And it was because someone took her tweet out of context, thought she was making a joke about something that she was actually trying to make a serious statement about, and they literally ruined this woman's life while she was on an airplane. So I think social media is an extremely dangerous weapon, just like a gun.
We should be. I mean, when it comes to the idea of Keene or any other place seeming like a place where the government is cracking down, in a way, it's not like if you're playing a game of Civilization. You can't see the areas of the map at all which are dominated by the enemy. But the areas where you have scouts out and you're doing something, that's where you see all the enemy. So it's just the same way. Keene has a lot of activity, therefore it sees a lot of the enemy.
Yeah, that's true. And the more activity that we've had, the more video we've collected of these bureaucrats just acting in completely asinine and outrageous manners. And it doesn't seem like they learn in the short term, but to some extent, I think they have. I mean, I feel like there were certain elements within the city of Keene that were more interested in coming at us in the past, who either are not there now or they've just simmered down.
I mean, a lot of them just left.
Well, they've retired or whatever. Like the old code enforcer used to sniff around here all the time for things. And, we beat them on a couple of matters. And in fact, I beat them at the Supreme Court when they tried to come after the Keene Activist Center for lack of smoke alarms. I actually beat them in that particular case. So, and then, of course, you get the Robin Hood of Keene case where people were filling parking meters and the city of Keene lost $50,000 in revenue because they couldn't write tickets for a year, basically. They couldn't write the same level of tickets that they had written in previous years. So they took us to court. And then they spent $100,000, maybe estimated,
of the taxpayers' money
on private attorneys to take us to court, where they ultimately lost on free speech grounds. So, this is, I think it's a testament. And now you've got what you called about, Dave, is that the mayor, who we've run candidates against in the past, he's been reelected over those candidates. Daryl's one of them, and a couple other folks. Bob, most recently, who's Chris's boyfriend, who's on our Friday night show. But, having us out there has been a good thing for the area. Ultimately, it's gotten conversations started. It's gotten people thinking about issues that they otherwise wouldn't have thought about. Yeah, it's gotten some people mad, but you can't change the state without getting people mad. It's gonna happen. And if it's not happening in your area, it's because you're not effective enough. Sorry. Hey, Dave, great call. Thanks for making it here tonight. I appreciate that, and I'll definitely be checking out the Ridley Report to see that video. I appreciate it. That's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. And just think how much more successful we could all be if more libertarians would actually pick up their lives and move to New Hampshire. I'm not saying you have to move to Keene. There's plenty of great places across all of New Hampshire where we need more liberty-minded activists, like thousands more, like you. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,894. Antiwar.com reports addressing the Iraqi parliament's call last week for a specific timeline for all foreign troops to withdraw from Iraq. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said there were no plans at present to leave Iraq and that troops would stay as long as necessary. His assessment was not couched as defiance, however, nor did he take the U.S. position that the deployment is permanent. Rather, he claimed NATO has gotten a written request from Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi to keep troops in the country. Details on this written request are unclear, and indeed, its existence wasn't even made public until now. It is likely that a similar request exists for U.S. troops within Iraq as well, given how reliant on overseas deployments Abadi was during the fight against the Islamic State. The statement by Iraqi's parliament suggests they weren't apprised of this request either, and that inevitably raises the question of whether Abadi is empowered to unilaterally give permission for open-ended foreign deployments, a question that's likely to be raised among Iraqi members of parliament as the deployments get further and further past the end of the conflict with the Islamic State. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Bill Cosby will again go on trial to face rape accusations after attorneys from both sides attacked each other's credibility in a Montgomery County, Pennsylvania court hearing on Monday. Cosby's team, led by defense attorney Thomas Mesereau, whose former clients include Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Robert Blake, said the case against Cosby should be thrown out because the prosecutors allegedly destroyed evidence and encouraged Cosby accuser Andrea Constan to lie under oath. NBC News reported at issue was defense witness Marguerite Jackson, a former co-worker of Cosby accuser Andrea Constand. In a statement, Jackson said Constand told her she could extort a celebrity by accusing them of drugging and sexually abusing her. The prosecutor's investigators interviewed Jackson and were successful in getting Jackson barred from testifying during Cosby's trial, but Cosby's defense team accused them of destroying interview notes. Defense lawyer Kathleen Bliss said they went and interviewed her, so they knew that she completely repudiated Andrea Constand's statement accusing Mr. Cosby of misconduct. In response to the defense team's accusation, Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin R. Still said the defense attorneys are lying and that they should be thrown off the case due to their incompetent and unethical methods, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. After hearing both legal teams shoot each other's credibility, Montgomery County Judge Stephen T. O'Neill was unconvinced by either argument and decided to let the case proceed with the attorneys on the docket. The trial will begin April 2nd. Although dozens of women have publicly accused Cosby of sexual abuse, Constand is the only one who has a criminal case against him. That case ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury last June. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Ford Motor Company said it will temporarily lay off 2,000 hourly employees at its Michigan assembly and stamping plant in the town of Wayne as the factories undergo retooling to build the Ranger pickup trucks and Bronco sports utility vehicles. The layoffs will start in early May and last through October, according to a notice filed by the number 2 U.S. automaker. Ford Manufacturing and Labor Communications Manager Kelly Felker said in an email, employees who are temporarily affected will receive approximately 75% of their take-home pay if they have 1 year seniority, adding the affected employees will all return to work either at Michigan Assembly or at another Ford facility. The announcement comes as sales of the Ford Focus small car currently built at the plant have slowed down. Ford had previously outlined a plan to retool the plant for the new Bronco SUV, but had not yet disclosed a specific schedule. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The producers of Sesame Street have responded to the controversy over the recent New Yorker cover that showed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple celebrating the repeal of DOMA. Sesame Workshop released a statement today saying, quote, "We have never viewed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple, but as two friends who will do absolutely anything to get their rocks off. These pansexual perverts cannot be categorized in your narrow gay, straight, or bisexual paradigm. They're into some pretty sick shit." On their website, PBS released a long list of the duo's strange sexual fetishes, which range from shoving ice into their anuses so that they can shit cold water into women's mouths, to castrating stray dogs and then masturbating onto the animals' bleeding wounds. Although they're flattered that fans have turned the characters into gay icons, the producers explained that calling them gay would be inaccurate. Quote, "They will literally f*** anything that moves." The producers also added that Oscar the Grouch is neither male nor female, and that its trash can is designed to hide a lower body that is just a Lovecraftian monstrosity of hundreds of interlocking penises and vaginas.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Skype username, should you wish to join us there, is LRN.FM. And with you in the studio here tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Will.
We can talk more about the horrifying story about ICE shackling 92 Somali alleged immigrants, and worse, doing more than just shackling them, apparently not even giving them access to any kind of food or water. And what else? Well, what else?
Well, the worst part, I think, is that like these are just people that they're just people who overstayed their visas. Basically, they weren't picked up for criminal offenses and these kind of things. They were just caught up in this dragnet, and they literally came here fleeing oppression and repression in a civil war torn government that civil war was created by our government, by the United States government to start with.
And now they might be sent back to that place.
And they're very, very clear about the fact that they could be killed, and nobody cares.
Well, some people care, but they're generally not working for the government. So let's get back. We can get back to the rest of that story coming up here. But we actually have Matthew calling us from Pennsylvania to start things out here this hour. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you're on the radio. Go ahead.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm sorry.
No, you're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the future of the liberty movement and the Libertarian Party. I believe the Libertarian Party needs to get more libertarian again and more principled. I will tell you here in the... I'm sorry?
I said...
Agreed.
I also agree with that.
I will tell you here in Pennsylvania this past weekend, we just nominated a Senate candidate for the Libertarian Party, and his name is Dale Kearns. I'll tell you, he's pretty principled and has a solid message. Cool. And we also elected a governor candidate. His name is Ken Krawczyk, and he has a very solid message, too. I'm very excited.
Well, that's good to know, because a lot of the libertarians have fallen away from their principle, or never had it in the first place, and the national level party has been infiltrated by these, let's call them Republican lights, who want to come on and take over the reins of the third most popular political party in the United States and basically run it into the ground.
That's why I totally support.
And that's the.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, guys, and that's the reason I'm running for chair of the LNC this year.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yes, sir, I am. I am running because I can't watch my party just fall by the wayside. We cannot have another rehab of 2016.
So you don't want to see the Libertarian Party nominating some washed-up Republican gubernatorial former governor people from different states.
Yeah. Well, who were your favorite candidates in 2016?
Well, it was Darryl Perry and Mr. McAfee.
Yeah,
to be honest,
those would have been much better choices for the presidential ticket of the Libertarian Party. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed because of this ongoing infiltration. You know, I wish those of you who want to try to take back over the LP for principle, I really wish you the best. I hope that it works out for you. Personally, I'm not willing to do more than talk about it on the radio. I'm not going to spend any of my time going down to their convention and trying to duke it out with these unprincipled hacks.
I'm happily promoting the new UIP.
Now, what is this?
The United Independent Party. Basically, Steve Kerbell, who was a presidential candidate, one of the nomination candidates running against Johnson and Perry and McAfee.
But not a good one.
Well, he dropped out, and
didn't he throw his support behind Johnson?
Well, he joined the Johnson campaign and worked for the Johnson campaign throughout the campaign. And now, basically, he's started a new party, and it's very open about the fact that they're kind of liberty light, and that their number one goal, the most important thing, is winning elections. So I'm promoting them. I think it's a great idea. They
should get the unprincipled hacks from the Libertarian Party and have them join.
I don't want to be mean and say horrible things.
Well, I'm
about
not in
them
the party, so I'll say whatever I want.
Well, I don't want them to. I don't want them to stay out of spite.
Yeah, they're going to stay anyway. See, I'm sorry. It's a great idea. I support the idea of siphoning them off. But the reason why they came in the first place is because the Libertarian Party is 40 years old, and they'd already done a lot of the groundwork and the footwork of securing ballot access in various different states. So it's much easier to come in and affect a political takeover, which is something that just happens in political movements. It's just a reality, in the same way that the Free Staters are coming in and taking over the Republican and working on infiltrating the Democratic parties here in New Hampshire. The very same thing has happened to the Libertarians. So while the UIP thing is a good idea, if it does siphon some of them off, that's great. I wouldn't expect it to be any kind of significant reduction. It's going to be a brutal fight at the upcoming year 2000 is when the big convention's going to happen?
No, it's in it's this year in
2020.
NOLA.
What was I saying? Year 2000.
No, to 2018. There's a big one that's coming up this year in 2018, and the worry is it's going to be like Portland in 2006 all over again.
See, I think that all you guys in the National Libertarian Party are wasting your time.
I'm retired.
Oh, did you? Did you
retired.
resign?
Yeah, I retired years ago. I publicly retired a year ago.
Is that resigning or just retiring?
No, I retired.
Okay.
What are we supposed to do? Just sit and watch our party?
Move to New Hampshire,
from
where
the
you can
inside?
actually have an effect. You can actually get
understand where you're
libertarians
coming
elected.
from.
Sorry, I was trying to answer your question. You asked what you were supposed to do. I've got a suggestion. I'm not going to tell anyone what they should do, but if you actually care about having liberty in your lifetime, or within the next couple of lifetimes, the idea is move and concentrate libertarians in one geographic area. We have proven that it works here in New Hampshire. We have seen the reverse happening here with success, meaning libertarians are infiltrating the other political parties here and taking them over from the inside. That's happening here. It's certainly not happening anywhere else. We've had libertarians we have 3 libertarians sitting in the state house right now. We have others who are very libertarian who are there as Republicans and Democrats. So there's probably in total at least like 20 or so pretty principled libertarians in the New Hampshire state house. So from a political aspect, we've got all kinds of wins under our belt. We've got an amazing level of activism here that's just unprecedented. There's more activism that you can do here in 1 week than there was in an entire year where I came from down in Florida. And I've checked back to see what Florida's like. It's still just as bad as it was 15 years ago. Just as bad.
Not only that, we're all kind of stacked on top of each other here. So like you've got the cryptocurrency store next door to the cryptocurrency accepting mosque that's just a mile down the road from the cryptocurrency accepting, hippie run head shop across the street from the burger joint that's a mile up the road from the place you can get your transmission fixed, right down the road from the Libertarian radio station. I mean, it's liberty activists stacked on top of liberty activists on top of liberty activists.
And it makes a difference. Numbers make a difference.
And you made a fair point. I can't argue with you.
Here's what I'd like you to do, Matthew, is take a moment out of maybe about an hour of your life. Go to 101reasonsfilm.com and check out the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. It's a very, very excellently produced, very good documentary film that goes.
I already have.
You have, all right. So then you know that there's some really interesting reasons why New Hampshire is already the #1 most free state. So instantly, by moving to New Hampshire, you're freer in a number of different ways, and you also have.
I have joined the Shire.
I'm sorry.
I have joined the Shire.
Shire Society.
I do plan on.
Yep.
Yes. And I do plan on, in the future, moving to New Hampshire.
It's a solid plan. Thank you for the call tonight, Matthew. Yep.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. So he mentioned the Shire Society. You can go to shiresociety.com and you can sign the Shire Society Declaration. You don't have to. There's nobody tracking, memberships there. There's no board of directors to make stupid decisions. It's just a declaration that was written back in 2010. It was signed by dozens of people in real life at what was then Porcfest back in 2010.
It now resides as the front of the pulpit in the church area of the Interfaith Center.
That's right, and it's a very nice framed version of that original signed Shire Society Declaration, which again, you can see for yourself. There's photos of it actually over at shiresociety.com. So check that out. And again, 101reasonsfilm.com. If you're a libertarian, you're sick of losing, you really ought to be up here.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we got all kinds of cool features on our website. Be sure you drop on over there and check them out. And also, of course, we got some great sponsors, including Blink Home Security. You can get your Blink Protect system by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Super easy to set up. I mean, really, it couldn't be easier than this. I've been involved in home security system installs before, and I hate it because it's drilling holes, it's running wires, and I don't want to do that crap. And I don't want to pay somebody else to do it either just because it's expensive. So if you get the Blink Home Security System, it's wireless. You unbox it, you put the batteries in the cameras, you put the cameras where you want them, and then you just do a quick setup with your Wi-Fi device like a tablet or a smartphone they've got a little hub that basically transmits to all their cameras, and it's super fast and easy to set this thing up. I mean, really, seriously, could not get easier than it currently is. BlinkProtect.com/FTL. That's BlinkProtect.com/FTL to get yours. 3 Blink cams can be yours for what some of the other guys might charge you for one of their cameras. Let's continue here in a moment, but I do want to say Free Talk Live also brought to you by Forkfest. So we just talked about this during one of the breaks here tonight. because I had heard, and I want to give whoever thought of this credit because it wasn't me. And I don't remember who it was. It was just one of those things that, came into my consciousness somehow. And I know somebody out there thought this up, but it's great. Whoever it was, brilliant job. It's a play on Porcfest, which for years was the go-to event for libertarians from around the globe to come to.
And crypto, truthfully.
It became that.
Before there was ever a blockchain conference,
right?
There was Porcfest, and that was where you went. If you wanted to use or learn about Bitcoin or meet Roger Ver.
He was there more than once.
Honest to God, Ian. You have to be truthful. To meet like the people that were promoting Bitcoin, then you had to go to Porcfest or Liberty Forum, but mostly Porcfest.
And all the vendors were taking Bitcoin at one time.
That's where I met Eric Voorhees.
Yeah. And he's the founder of Shapeshift.io. So a lot of cryptocurrency people know those names. Charlie Shrem was at Porcfest for a few years. A lot of the big names in the early days of Bitcoin went to Porcfest.
Eric let me use his vending site for like 4 days.
That's awesome. He's a great guy. And a former listener of maybe still currently, but former Free Talk Live amplifier and everything. So this event goes way back. A couple years ago, and over time, as things become larger and more popular, and you put people in charge of it, and it's run differently, and it's hard to keep the same level of expectation of anything that you create. There's always the sort of the ebb and flow of life and projects, and can your event stay on top forever? Probably not. And the event is no longer on top. I wrote an article recently at freekeene.com. Apparently, it ruffled some feathers. It wasn't my intention to ruffle feathers. It was just, hey, look, this event is no longer the must-attend event in the Liberty sphere. As far as I'm concerned, that's now Anarchapulco. That event has, within 4 years, hit the level of attendance that Porcfest took a decade to hit. And it's got a large variety of attendees, just like Porcfest had. But we're not done with having Liberty camping festivals in New Hampshire, and Porcfest certainly isn't done. It's still going. From what I hear, their registrations are up this year compared to where they were at last year. And so that's good news. And I wish the best to the event. I've never wanted to see it fail, even when I was banned from the event. I still wrote an article at Free Keene saying, hey, I might be banned from the event, but you should still go to Porcfest. It doesn't have Buzz's Big Gay Dance Party anymore. It's not the same event that it once was. But if you've never been to it, then you don't have a basis of comparison, and it'll probably still be a good time.
Well, a lot of the people that I know that have been, it's like their first time or their first year was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
this is great.
It's great.
Yeah.
But then you've got vendors who were there 5 years ago, and
they can tell the difference.
Yeah, big difference. But I love
the number of attendees was down last year, from what I understand. The number of vendors was also down because you can't support as many food vendors, for instance, with half the attendees or what. And I don't know if it was half, but it was.
Well, one of the things I love about something like a Forkfest, Somali Fest or something like that is. Like before, when I first started getting into the Liberty community, it was getting to meet all those people, being like, I read Jeffrey Tucker and like Liberty.me every day back then, and there he is. You like shaking my hand
in the middle
of June. Gary Johnson back then. I was a fan of Gary Johnson, but it was before he went full on status, back 2013. Who else? Larkin Rose.
Yeah, they've had a bunch of them.
All these people that like I've read their books, and I wanted to meet them. And not only do you meet them, like you get to like hang out and eat a hot dog with them and their wife and their kids.
Yeah. It's a cool thing. It was a cool event, and as I say, it's still out there. But some people decided they didn't want to support Porcfest anymore after, again, some decisions were made that were unpopular with some people. And those people have said, well, we still want to come to New Hampshire. We still want to come hang out with other libertarians at a camping festival. So last year, some people, and I don't know who they were, came up with the idea of Somalia Fest. And we went. And Will, you were there.
It was Satoshi Nakamoto. It was his idea.
Or her, or whoever Satoshi Nakamoto is.
Satoshi Nakamoto's idea.
But that came up, and then sort of at Somalia Fest, people started calling it different things.
Yeah.
So we started calling it Shire Fest, because Shire Society is sort of a competitor, if you will, to recruit libertarians to move to New Hampshire, competitor with the Free State Project, a friendly competitor. So, but calling it Shire Fest, and then somebody else said, "Oh, well, we should all have our own fest." And so we, the Roger Paxton and his family were doing Paxton Fest. And then I had Jazzy Fest for my dog who was there, and everybody loves Jazzy. So we all had our own fests. And so I think Forkfest sort of embodies that whole concept of, hey, if you don't like it, just do your own thing. Or come here during these 4 days or whatever and do your own thing. You want to have speeches? Well, get a PA system and set up a stage, put a tent up, and have speeches. Nobody had speeches last year, so if you want to do that, go for it. You want to throw a rave like Will did?
We did.
Throw a damn rave. Put up a dome, get some speakers, and bring a laptop and start playing music.
Yeah,
that happened.
well, I don't even have to do it this year. You got Steven. He's got
Yeah, but can he DJ?
I don't know. I mean,
you might have to do that.
Right? I hope not. I don't know Steven's ability, but people seem to be enjoying him in Acapulco at whatever party they were throwing there.
They weren't there.
They weren't?
Talking about Steven Zeiler from AnyPay?
Well, where were they? They were somewhere throwing a party.
I told them they needed to be there next year because they totally missed out on Anarchapulco. And I think that Stephen and Derek would love Anarchapulco. I think they'd have a blast there. So the first thing I did was when I got back, I said, Derek, you guys, AnyPay, which is the competitor to BitPay in the world of cryptocurrency, merchant acceptance. There was so many crypto sponsors at Anarchapulco. It looked like a cryptocurrency convention. Everybody was talking about cryptocurrency, whether they were the crypto hippies or the crypto suits. Everybody was into cryptocurrency, and it really felt like a crypto convention. Only one of the days was focused on crypto, but the whole weekend, that's what all the talk was. And so I was like, AnyPay should be sponsoring this event next year and get the word out about your app.
Why can't we do 2 or 3 crypto sponsors and rent the pavilion out for 2 days?
You can do whatever you want. It's Forkfest, man.
Make it like a real thing and promote it.
It doesn't have to be a wee thing. It can just be a
why
you
even
thing.
have to sell tickets? Just get
there
some sponsors.
There is no tickets.
And
there are no
like,
tickets. Hey. If you want to attend Forkfest, you just got to rent the camping space from Rogers, and that's it. It's going to be like the 4 or 5 days before Porcfest, which starts on the 19th. So June whatever through the 19th, basically.
Right on.
We'll figure all that out, though. We just literally talked about this tonight. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You know, this is one of those things where it's going to be a spontaneous creation, right? I mean, nobody can really say anybody's in charge of Forkfest. Yeah. So anybody who wants to, like you were saying, well, could we rent the pavilion? I was like, you could do that.
Yeah.
You know, like if you wanted to rent the, because you're talking about the facilities.
When I'm saying I mean like LRN. Could
Liberty Radio Network.
Or Free Talk Live, or Call to Freedom and Free Talk Live
could
together.
Very well. Could very well.
I'd be happy to take some
long time ago.
Money.
Free Keene was one of the sponsors of the. We were the sponsor of the pavilion for years at Porcfest until somebody came along who I don't know who made the decision to start effing with the longtime sponsors. But there was one year in particular where Porcfest's organizers decided they were going to go ahead and try to basically push out the long-term sponsors, because there was all this new money Bitcoin sponsorship that was knocking at the door, and it was like, well, let's see if we can make the old sponsors really uncomfortable and make them not want to be sponsoring us anymore, is kind of what it came down to boil it down. And it was unpleasant. It was. Well,
you don't have to make those kind of things unpleasant. You just say, look, like we have these bigger sponsors, so we have to the more money we make, the more successful the event can be. So like, do you want to match these offers these bigger sponsors are offering, or do you not?
Yeah, were they making bigger offers though?
It wasn't like that. It was more like, we're going to double the amount of money that we're charging you this year and give you less for it. And it was just like, and this is what they basically told to people who'd long time been sponsors, right? Like, you don't treat long time sponsors like that who keep coming back year after year as the base.
Yeah, I would say that you kind of need to have like a year in the middle where you're like, okay, look, guys, next year we're going to have to make these decisions, and this is why. And
it doesn't offend me to have prices go up, right? Like that year was like, I think it was like the decade anniversary or whatever of
my
event.
First Porcfest X.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, I understand.
I don't know if the price goes up by double, then they have to be able to say, like, look, if you want to hold your spot, we've got another person offering this much for this spot. That would be okay, but it doesn't sound like that's what happened.
No,
they just decided to raise prices without having a sponsor on the table to actually fill the gap.
And they came along with new rules. There were these guys that were cooking, just doing epic cooking in the pavilion, where they were just all day from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. They were there cooking for people.
And it made people happy.
And they made people very, very happy. And they started putting extra rules on them. It was just like, let's drive these people out as well.
And eventually they shut it down entirely. They said,
they weren't going to deal with this.
You can't use this big kitchen that's the only kitchen on the campground that's capable of basically serving everyone.
Right.
With a clean, healthy environment, rather than cooking out of a campsite.
And it's not my intention to,
Excuse me very much.
It's not
I did it. I was one of the people cooking out of a campsite.
So do I. That's why we have tons of coolers and and cooking
but
space
it's not
and
the
extra
same
tables.
as having a full kitchen, an industrial kitchen and 2 huge industrial refrigerators and a big flat stove, like one of those
some of which they brought in.
Nickel-plated flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I remember I was there one time while George was there, and he never came back after that.
And there's a reason why. And I don't want to drag anybody through the mud. I'm not naming names or anything like that. It's just that as events get big and they get a little more hard to control, and it just things change. And I understand that. And if something is, like it was the 10th one, and so it's going to be a big event, right? The 10th one's a big. I get raising prices, but doubling them. It's one thing to say, all right, we got to raise your price 10 or 20% or 25% even.
The vendors got hit like that one year too.
Doubled?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's why a lot of the vendors have been burned too, because when we were there at Somali Fest last year.
That was also the year that the fallout with you happened, and vendors that were making myself personally, that were making like $5,000 a year made like $2,200. And then you had people who were first-time vendors that were like, "Oh, I made a lot of money. It was great." And for them, I'm sure it was great.
Yeah.
But for other people who had been there and were had the perspective of, well, the last 2 years I've actually made this much, and this year it's a lot less. And I was expecting it to be this, and now these plans that I had, and I've got all this extra stock, and I got to lug all this crap home. And
10 years from now, it'll be called Ripple Fest. It'll be still serving Amanda's ice cream and have absolutely nothing to do with freedom.
You're referring to, it's an inside joke, you're referring to Amanda Bolden, who was a former guest on Free Talk Live from these very events. We talked to her about her story, and she was a mover here to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project, supposedly a libertarian or an anarchist or something, who has now completely rejected
very
libertarianism.
Outspoken anarchist libertarian at the time.
Has now completely rejected libertarianism, has turned against libertarianism, has made public statements.
She used to make ice cream is the real reason why, and I was making the comparison between Ripple, the cryptocurrency,
coin.
Yeah, the
banker
cryptocurrency,
coin. The banker crypt.
The banking focused cryptocurrency that may or may not have
may not be a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, or or it may be. I mean, I don't really know if they're being forced to or not, but they did hire this the regulator who came up with a Bitcoin bill for the state of New York.
They brought him on the board of directors. Yeah,
and they brought him on the board of directors.
So what you're saying,
but is that by force? I don't know.
You're saying is you believe that Porcfest has sort of become a corrupt event from what it originally was.
Absolutely.
And it's not. It doesn't please me to say that. I never wanted to see that event.
Well, I don't know.
Take a fall.
Now I think we've got. I mean, you have to acknowledge though. There's new leadership now, at least an interim type leadership, and you've got.
That's true.
Roger.
I love Roger
of
Paxton.
the Lava Flow podcast is. Well, I mean, if there's few people that when I hear him speak that I more think, oh yeah, he's an anarchist. So
he's a great communicator for the ideas of liberty, and we had him on Free Talk Live from Shirefest last year, and he was awesome. I mean, I'd love to have him on more often, but he lives on the seacoast and we live out here, so it's just that's a whole world away.
So I'm hoping. I'm hearing when I talk to him, because I've been in negotiations with him for Call to Freedom and stuff like that with the Media Room and all that. Media Room is supposedly officially coming back this year.
Okay.
They're just blowing the last 2 years worth of ticket sales out of the water and all this other stuff. So, I'm hopeful that Roger is as good a marketer and organizer of an event as he is of his own podcast.
Yeah. And I think they're good folks, and it's, as I said to him in a private conversation, you've been handed a struggling event, and they're doing the best they can. And like you said, they're getting more signups this year than they did last year. So I think that's a good thing. And when again, there's no hard feelings here. Writing the article about Anarchapulco wasn't meant as an attack against Porcfest. It was meant as an endorsement of Anarchapulco as the must-attend event for libertarians. Well, that's just my opinion.
I thought it was really cool last year that you had so much crossover between the two events, and you even had people like Carla, who showed up during Somalia Fest. Like, she showed up before Porcfest. She's like the former president or former chair of the Free State Project. And she's at Somalia Fest with a cocktail.
Roger Paxton himself and his family were there throughout Somalia Fest, having their vacation in advance of the work they have to do to run the actual Porcfest.
Exactly. So, and you know what? I'm fairly sure that we'll probably see the same thing this year. And I love that it's not really a competition between the two events. There's no like, no,
you can attend both.
As
long as you're not me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or Chris Cantwell.
Right. It's not like this animosity that you would normally see between two events with similar audiences. No, usually there would be this
some people who have that animosity, but I'm not one of them.
You don't see it expressed, though. You don't see people openly campaigning like, don't go to Somalia Fest, don't go to Porcfest, they're terrible.
I haven't seen it. I would hope people wouldn't do that because it's petty. If there's one that you like better than the other, just go to that one.
Yeah.
If you want to go to both, go to both.
Yeah, I was about to say, or just be smart and go to both.
If your budget is tight, then go to Forkfest, because there's no admittance fee, but there's also no scheduled events, right? Like we don't have to pay to hire John Stossel. Nobody's going to throw $10,000 at John Stossel to have him come to Forkfest.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. But there are going to be things happening there. So, for instance, our co-host Jay Noon, he's getting married at Forkfest.
Yep.
And then last year, as I say, you threw a rave, and so who knows what's going to come about through decentralization. And that's one of the other differences between the two festivals is no organizers and a set of organizers. And they have their ups and downs on both sides. There's no doubt about it. 855-450 free like freedom. We'll continue here in moments. You can share your thoughts on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Free Talk Live.
Are you saying there's something wrong with a gay couple adopting children?
Absolutely.
What could possibly be wrong about that?
Then the children are going to be raised by queers instead of by,
You are homophobic, aren't you, Tom?
No.
I think so.
But anyway.
What's wrong with them being raised by gay people?
Because gay people are unfit to raise children.
How dare you?
I object a lot. I had a friend who was adopted by gay parents, and he grew up just fine with completely normal values, and he's a very normal, functioning member of society.
I've met plenty of gay people in my time who I thought would make fantastic parents and would be far better parents than many of the white trash parents that are out there raising kids today. Tom, do you know any gay people?
I try not to, but...
Yeah, well, that figures, and you're about done. Thanks for the call.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so don't forget you can Skype right in here and join us and talk about whatever you want. Skype username is LRN.FM. And I don't think I've mentioned this, but our Discord chat, which is available to you 24 hours a day, by the way. There's people chatting in there throughout the day.
We did mention it at the beginning of the show.
Oh, good, good. Yeah. Discord.lrn.fm. Last I checked, there were over 400 members of the Discord. Now, I don't know if there's any way to see how many of them have, come back a second time or have logged in within the last week. But a lot of people are involved in the Free Talk Live LRN Discord. There's different rooms for some of our different shows. So Call to Freedom has a room. So during your show, Will, there are people specifically talking in your room, and then during Free Talk Live, some of them move over to that room. But there's conversations about gaming, there's conversations about cryptocurrency. There's rooms specifically for these topics. And
we've got listeners that get paid, like when they win the free cryptocurrency call-ins
on your show.
On our show, they get paid on the Discord.
Really?
Yeah, they just send us their wallet right there on the Discord in a private message, and then we send them their coins right away.
So we're talking a lot about we didn't plan this, but it just kind of came up. We're talking about Forkfest and Porcfest, the two friendly competition.
Right.
They're not competing directly with one another. They're not happening at the same time. In fact, they happen right up against one another in the summertime here in New Hampshire. And of course, the Porcupine Freedom Festival is Porkfest, and Forkfest is that festival that has forked away from Porcfest.
Is Forkfest SegWit compliant?
I don't know. But I bet you there's going to be some crypto-accepting people there.
Oh, you can bet that.
At both of those festivals. And we have summoned Roger Paxton to the line here, who, from what I hear, has been dealing with some unfortunate things in his basement recently. Roger, I appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us. Welcome to Free Talk Live.
It's good to be here. I have been summoned, so I am here.
It's good. It's good to have you.
So are we calling it Forkfest this year instead of Shirefest? That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with it, man, but whoever it was, I love it. And we were just talking about
it's
that.
Neat. Yeah, I like it a lot.
What happened in your basement? I heard you had some kind of pipe bursting.
Yeah, we had a flood over the weekend. Apparently, our sump tank or our sump pump just decided to stop working and let in 9 inches of water. We got up, no furnace. It was freezing cold. Wondering why it's so cold. We go to the basement to check on the furnace, and we're in 9 inches of water. It was a disaster.
Jeez, that sounds like it could be a little costly to clean that up.
Well, it certainly is. Thankfully, we've got really good insurance, and they're covering most of it. But it's been a nightmare getting it dealt with.
So, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you taking time out here tonight. You're the guy who, certainly longtime listeners know, you're a sometime guest co-host here on Free Talk Live. The last time we had you on was during what is now being called Forkfest for this year. Last year was called Somalia Fest and Shire Fest and Paxton Fest and Jazzy Fest and all kinds of things. And so what I was saying earlier is I think that whoever came up with Forkfest is brilliant, because that's basically what we did last year. Was everybody just kind of had their own fest, and whoever wants to do whatever they want to do. You want to have speakers, you want to have a party, you want to do throw a rave, do it. You know, you don't have to ask anybody's permission, maybe with the exception of Rogers Campground, the land supplier in that case.
And Porcfest is very similar in that way. I mean, if you want to do, a party on your campsite, we're not going to tell you no, as long as you're, being respectful of your neighbors and, not keeping people up and all hours.
Right, you
of the
can't
night.
host
Porcfest
it in the square area of the Porcfest camp zone. They don't like that kind of thing.
Right, right. You might get shouted down a little bit.
There's an area for the partiers, and then there's an area for the the families that just want to have a nice quiet night.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that. So Porcfest is happening. Let's talk a little bit about Porcfest and what's going on there, because all we have to look at is the website, but now we've got you. So Porcfest, the dates are longer than they originally were announced. Last year there was a shorter date range. You guys rethought that.
Well, because, if we do it really long, we get, complaints that it's too long. We do it really short to compensate, then we get complaints it's too short. So now we're kind of meeting
everybody.
Right. So we're kind of meeting in the middle. It's going to be Tuesday through Sunday this week time instead of Wednesday through Sunday last time, to kind of meet that middle ground. But things are going great. I mean, early bird sales were tremendous. We're really excited about the number of sales we've got. We've already announced 2 big acts, and we've got several more, announcements coming. Backwards.
Who are the biggies? What do we get?
So Backwards is going to be doing a Friday or Saturday night mega concert.
That sounds pretty cool. Now that's going back to some Porcfest roots, because did you have a mega concert last year? Because I didn't hear about it.
We had the 80s party, which has been a staple for a long time, and it was a blast. It was so much fun, but not a really huge musical act. So we're really excited to bring that back.
That's cool.
And Eric July is also going to be speaking at the event, doing an actual speech on top of his their performance, which we're really excited about because he's a brilliant individual.
All right.
We also announced just today that Ben Swan is going to be one of our keynote speakers.
Good choice.
So we're bringing him in. We're really excited about that because I've never met the guy, so I'm really excited.
I got to meet him in Acapulco. Super nice guy. We had him on the show.
Nice. And we have several other announcements coming over the next few weeks. Now, matter of fact, I just got off a Porcfest planning call right before I called you guys.
All right.
We're just really in the planning mode and getting a lot going on. So we're really excited about what's happening.
I'm glad that you're not prohibited from appearing on Free Talk Live to talk about Porcfest. It's nice to have you.
Yes, I'm glad I'm not as well.
I imagine you wouldn't have put up with anything like that, even if they tried to tell you that. So.
Well, look, you know how it goes. That's all I can say. But I am excited. Are you still coming to Forkfest this year?
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome. Absolutely. I cannot wait to hang out, and maybe I can be on the show a little bit then.
You better believe it. I'm expecting you.
Absolutely. So just that's a great question. Is there anybody, Will, any of you guys that who's somebody that you would love to see at Porcfest? Because I'd love to make it happen.
Ian Freeman.
Oh, come on. Come on. That's not happening, unfortunately. Roger tried his best, and it's just there's too many political forces at work within that organization. But
well, I clearly can't comment on that being on the board of the Free State Project as well. But I mean, seriously though, of libertarian speakers, libertarian bands or whatever the case may be, I'd love to hear some feedback. You can shoot me an email at Roger. It's RODGER at porcfest.com.
Doug Stanhope. That's who I would go
Stanhope.
for.
That would
I would buy tickets and then buy tickets for my friends in Connecticut and their family. If you could get Doug Stanhope to come, I would buy 6 early bird tickets tomorrow.
He used
if you
to be.
could get Doug Stanhope.
As far as I know.
He is.
As far as I know, he still is. I don't think anything has changed that. So I think that's probably still the case. But yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to see Doug Stanhope.
I still want to see Penn Jillette anywhere in New Hampshire. I just whether it's at Porcfest or anything else. He's the toughest guy to get a hold of. I mean, I've always tried to get I've been successful at getting anybody on Free Talk Live except Penn Jillette. I got John Stossel.
The dude works 6 nights a week.
Yeah,
and he's always working. So I mean, he's going to be a tough get. But maybe one of these days we've put some feelers out. So we'll see.
Ibrahim Anoba is in the U.S. He'd be pretty cool to see at an event.
I think he's called this show before.
Yeah, he's the Nigerian liberty activist that set up the LRN pirate broadcast and all that kind of stuff.
Love that.
I would love to have him because those are cojones. Bigger than Rogers Campground. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are going to have to find a special stage just to put that man on. And as far as I know, he's in the U.S. right now working with the Cato Institute.
Roger, ticket price, early bird, what's the deal? What's going on right now?
Well, early bird is over, ended March 31st or March 1st, but we've got $80 tickets for the regular admission, staying the same price as last year, and $230 for the VIP.
So hotel rooms still available, campsites still available.
Campsites are still available. We'll probably release some more hotel rooms as we go. We already released 8, and they were gone super quick in one day ready for them.
Yeah.
But we will be opening up some more later as we know what we need for volunteers. But you can get all the information at porkfest.com, and we will start updating our speakers list on that website soon.
Right on. Anything else you want to deliver tonight to our audience?
No, just definitely check it out, porkfest.com, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Right on. We'll look forward to seeing you early on because you guys took a vacation last year in advance of Porkfest. Your family came up, chilled out for several days during Forkfest, or what will be called Forkfest this year.
And had a great time at Forkfest, Shirefest. That was a whole lot of fun, and I'm hoping I'll be able to spend as much time on Free Talk Live this time, but I'm going to be a lot busier this time because being the producer is a lot of time.
What is your role different this year? Because I thought you were an organizer last year. Are you like the organizer this time, and you were part of the group?
Yeah, my wife and I last year ran the main pavilion, so we did everything revolved around that. This year, my wife and I are the co-producers, so the entire show is under our
you get all the blame. Good luck.
That's exactly right.
All right, Roger, I'll let you get back to your night. Thanks for stopping in here on Free Talk Live, and it's nice to have your endorsement of Forkfest. I appreciate that.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
dude. Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow podcast and like half a dozen other shows over at Pax Libertas Productions. That's the guy you want to talk to. So we'll continue here. Of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome. So there you go. Porkfest, June 19th through the 24th. It's sounding like it's thrown back a bit, getting a live musical act big on stage. That's old school Porkfest right there. So I hope things do pan out there. And, of course, then Forkfest also happening beforehand, about the 4 or 5 days before that. So starting on the 14th, going through the 18th. This is all in June. If you're looking for a great excuse to come up, check out New Hampshire, and meet some of the people of this amazing community of liberty-minded activists who have already moved here. This is going to be the events at which you can do that. So check it out. There's no website for Forkfest, but you can go to forum.shiresociety.com and you can join the Shire Society forum there, and there's a Forkfest subforum in there for discussions and such. We got hour number 3 on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,894. Antiwar.com reports addressing the Iraqi parliament's call last week for a specific timeline for all foreign troops to withdraw from Iraq. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said there were no plans at present to leave Iraq and that troops would stay as long as necessary. His assessment was not couched as defiance, however, nor did he take the U.S. position that the deployment is permanent. Rather, he claimed NATO has gotten a written request from Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi to keep troops in the country. Details on this written request are unclear, and indeed, its existence wasn't even made public until now. It is likely that a similar request exists for U.S. troops within Iraq as well, given how reliant on overseas deployments Abadi was during the fight against the Islamic State. The statement by Iraqi's parliament suggests they weren't apprised of this request either, and that inevitably raises the question of whether Abadi is empowered to unilaterally give permission for open-ended foreign deployments, a question that's likely to be raised among Iraqi members of parliament as the deployments get further and further past the end of the conflict with the Islamic State. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Bill Cosby will again go on trial to face rape accusations after attorneys from both sides attacked each other's credibility in a Montgomery County, Pennsylvania court hearing on Monday. Cosby's team, led by defense attorney Thomas Mesereau, whose former clients include Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Robert Blake, said the case against Cosby should be thrown out because the prosecutors allegedly destroyed evidence and encouraged Cosby accuser Andrea Constant to lie under oath. NBC News reported at issue was defense witness Marguerite Jackson, a former co-worker of Cosby accuser Andrea Constant. In a statement, Jackson said Constant told her she could extort a celebrity by accusing them of drugging and sexually abusing her. The prosecutor's investigators interviewed Jackson and were successful in getting Jackson barred from testifying during Cosby's trial, but Cosby's defense team accused them of destroying interview notes. Defense lawyer Kathleen Bliss said they went and interviewed her, so they knew that she completely repudiated Andrea Constant's statement accusing Mr. Cosby of misconduct. In response to the defense team's accusation, Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin R. Still said the defense attorneys are lying and that they should be thrown off the case due to their incompetent and unethical methods, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. After hearing both legal teams shoot each other's credibility, Montgomery County Judge Stephen T. O'Neill was unconvinced by either argument and decided to let the case proceed with the attorneys on the docket. The trial will begin April 2nd. Although dozens of women have publicly accused Cosby of sexual abuse, Constant is the only one who has a criminal case against him. That case ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury last June. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Ford Motor Company said it will temporarily lay off 2,000 hourly employees at its Michigan assembly and stamping plant in the town of Wayne as the factories undergo retooling to build the Ranger pickup trucks and Bronco sports utility vehicles. The layoffs will start in early May and last through October, according to a notice filed by the number 2 U.S. automaker. Ford Manufacturing and Labor Communications Manager Kelly Felker said in an email, employees who are temporarily affected will receive approximately 75% of their take-home pay if they have 1 year seniority, adding the affected employees will all return to work either at Michigan Assembly or at another Ford facility. The announcement comes as sales of the Ford Focus small car currently built at the plant have slowed down. Ford had previously outlined a plan to retool the plant for the new Bronco SUV, but had not yet disclosed a specific schedule. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since Republican leaders unveiled the reanimated corpse of Ronald Reagan at a fundraising event last week, the undead former president has quickly emerged as the new face of the Republican Party. Since Reagan was brought back from the grave by GOP leaders in a top-secret $2.2 million reanimation project, poll data shows Reagan with a higher favorability rating than all other high-profile Republicans combined.
The voters know Reagan. They trust Reagan. When he moans at them, they're going to listen.
There's questions as to whether he still has capacity for thought, and he does eat people. But big picture, he's the best option they have right now.
And appeared in a series of GOP ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Congress and the president say they're trying to help fix our country's economy. Ronald Reagan and the Republican Party have the right idea for America's future.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever is on your mind here as we launch into the third hour of the program. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Still to come here tonight, I know Johnson had brought a story in about a Holocaust survivor and a proposed statute of responsibility. I do want to get to that story here, but I know in the very beginning of the show, before we ended up talking about Forkfest and Porcfest and those sorts of things for a little bit, and the liberty movement, the migration. I think that's what actually started that whole conversation, was the guy who wanted to take back the Libertarian Party. I'm like, good luck, dude. Meanwhile, we're going to actually be having success here in New Hampshire with the largest libertarian migration that has ever happened in the world.
And then all get together and have a good time together for a week in the summer as well.
Exactly. And so that's what we were talking about. But y'all started the show out tonight on this story from theintercept.com. And this is about an outrageous situation with 92 deportees, 92 Somalian people who were being abused by ICE agents, ICE being Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, and being abused on a flight that they thought was going out of the country, forced to urinate in bottles or on themselves, shackled with chains on their wrists, waists, and legs for more than 40 hours. And ICE has denied that it mistreated said detainees. But you guys started this story out, and you wanted to keep going on this.
Sure.
So let me jump right into it. I think whereabouts you left off. Quote, when the plane's toilets overfilled with human waste, some of the detainees were left to urinate into bottles or on themselves. ICE agents wrapped some who protested or just stood up to ask a question in full-body restraints. ICE agents kicked, struck, or dragged detainees down the aisle of the plane and then subjected some to verbal abuse and threats. ICE Air Operations is a division of the agency responsible for deportation flights. Quote, ICE Air Operations personnel follow best practices when it comes to the security, safety, and welfare of the aliens returned to their countries of origin.
This is my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite. I could just say that over and over and over again. Best practices.
Because it's the best to have to drink your own urine because you don't have any... What?
Well, I mean...
anything to drink?
Like
you don't have water?
Well, like I said off the air, it's... Anytime,
that's torture.
Well, yeah, anytime you hear the words best practices come out of some government goon's mouth, someone's rights have been violated somewhere. Either they've shot some 9-year-old kid in the back of the head that wasn't armed and had nothing to do with the incident that they were showing up at. Like, there's always, they tossed a flashbang grenade in a crib with a 2-year-old. You know, like, there's always some horribly just beyond disgusting and unethical, egregious violation of people's rights. That's when they trot out that term, best practices.
Yeah, and they always do an internal review. Oh, don't worry, we're going to look at this.
Oh, well, we said on Call to Freedom that we've decided that instead of the alt-right being allowed to use the term didn't do nothing as a way to, like, say horrible things about minorities,
that libertarians should literally like take that away from them, and like didn't do nothing is like the new word I use for cops. So instead of like pig or boys in blue or whatever, anytime somebody tells me that there's a story about a cop, I call cops didn't do's, because anytime that something happened, well, they didn't do nothing. We investigated ourselves and we decided we didn't do nothing.
Yeah, didn't do nothing wrong. So that's not what happened on December 7th, however, when the plane stopped in Senegal to refuel, then sat on a runway there for 23 hours. I mean, I know what it's, every now and then you get a chance to sit on a runway for a little bit if the airport that you're going to is all messed up and you're backed up. And it sucks being there for 30 minutes, let alone 23 hours.
How bad were the lawsuits when that airline had something happen where they didn't let people off the plane?
Right.
Remember?
Yeah, because those people are liable for their actions.
Right.
Unlike the government, which sat there for 23 hours before being rerouted to Miami. ICE explained the delay in a statement they issued in December, saying, quote, "The relief crew was unable to get sufficient crew rest due to issues with their hotel in Dakar. So the aircraft remained parked so that the crew could rest. Quote, the allegations of ICE mistreatment on board the Somali flight are categorically false. No one was injured during the flight, and there were no incidents or altercations that would have caused any injuries on the flight."
Didn't do nothing.
Lenner said some of her clients reported that officers on board the airplane apologized to the immigrants when they realized the flight would be returning to the United States. It wasn't clear whether those who apologized were ICE officers or the private contractors involved. A number of major media outlets, including the New York Times, reported on the failed deportation flight, which was later picked up by Somali media. The Somalis argued in the lawsuit that if they were to be returned to Somalia, they would be, quote, killed or harmed due to changed circumstances in Somalia created by the media coverage and notoriety of the aborted and abusive December 7th flight. A team of pro bono lawyers is helping the Somalis try to reopen their past immigration cases in pursuit of immigration relief, and an immigration court has agreed to reopen at least one of those cases so far. Though ICE had been planning to take another shot at deporting the 92 people, most of them men, many of them longtime residents of the United States who fled horrors in Somalia and have U.S. citizen family members, in December, a judge at the Miami federal court halted their deportations until at least January 2nd. That order has since been extended, and the court continues to weigh preliminary issues related to the lawsuit. So maybe a court will give these people some level of relief in this particular case, but don't get your hopes up. It may just be that they're kicking the can down the road, ultimately to eject them from the country.
Well, some of the rights groups are even saying, like, this is just par for the course, like that they purposefully make living conditions as absolutely deplorable as possible. They make things as rough on these people as possible because they want you to give up. And and you're not getting, like, it's not like the local police department leaves you in the local county jail. Like, these people are openly mistreated. They're treated like slaves. They're treated like chattel, like they're less than human. And for some reason, because
you're talking about when they're not in government custody,
even when they are, no, they're the rights groups are saying when they are in government custody, the government, ICE, and at these detention facilities, county jails that are being used with federal agents in them, the federal agents, they treat them differently than a normal inmate would be treated. At the county jail, and that they use racial expletives, they physically assault them and abuse them, and say things to them like, "We taking you back to the jungle, boy," and things like and that's a normal thing, and that they do that on purpose because they don't want these people to stand up and contest being deported. Because it takes them longer and it costs more.
Lawyers also filed an administrative complaint with the DHS Inspector General and Civil Rights and Civil Liberties offices on a few options available to victims of excessive force seeking accountability. In addition to laying out what happened on the flight, the complaint includes recommendations for amendments to ICE's shackling policy. According to a professor at Texas A&M Law School, the medical studies indicate the extreme form of shackling used on the 92 deportees could cause significant psychological harm.
Now, the reason for that is really messed up. Immigration 16 years ago was made a part and parcel of the Department of Homeland Security. So now it is okay to treat a deportee, even if they're not being deported for having committed any kind of of a non-violent, let alone a violent crime, you can treat them as though they were a terrorism
like Hannibal
suspect.
Lecter or something
Yes,
like that.
you can treat them like terrorism suspects, even if their only crime was to overstay a visa because they were terrified of what could happen to them if they went back to the war-torn country that they were here from.
You might as well be a murderer in their eyes. In the weeks that followed, the Somalis being held at Glades have complained of physical abuse by guards at the county jail that doubles as an immigration detention center. The conditions at the jail, including pepper spray as a form of punishment and lack of access to medical care, to name a few, are the subject of a separate administrative complaint, court filings, and a letter to congressional representative and state senator. We will continue. Hear your calls and thoughts. Welcome. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Plus, we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM and the Discord on-air call-in line, which allows you to reach us in a variety of different ways, which you'll sound pretty good if you use Skype or Discord. So feel free to join us on Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Oh, Daryl is claiming credit for Forkfest, so right on, Daryl. Daryl W. Perry. He gets the credit, apparently. Forkfest is
He's
happening.
not going to copyright it, is it? I'm not going to have to pay him royalties for Forkfest shirts.
Didn't that happen with one of the old Porcfest organizers, where he tried to copyright it and then they banned him?
He tried
from the
to
event?
copyright the
porcupine, wasn't it?
Nope. He tried to copyright the soapbox idol.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that something you can do? Can you copyright
I don't
soapbox
know.
idol?
Something like.
Or is that trademarking?
I guess. I don't know. He just was claimed he came up with the name and, that they weren't allowed to use that without him, his permission of some kind.
So, yeah. Anyway, it's Free Talk Live. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. I do want you to know about Liberty.menu. It was actually during Forkfest last year where Liberty.menu got its major launch. Was Liberty.menu. It's a tool for the libertarian community to allow people who, maybe like you, are individuals who reject the initiation of force and who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, people who agree with that, to list their businesses and their events and their digital media. You can do it all in one place at liberty.menu. So if you're looking to do some business with some libertarians, with some voluntarists, with some liberty-loving anarchists, this is your guidebook. This is your business directory, and it's free to use. So there's no reason not to go there and put your business in it tonight. Or go and look around and see who's offering what services. Because if you're going to spend money on something, I don't know, whatever it is that you need to do in life, why not spend it with people who agree with you from a voluntarist viewpoint? I mean, it's a no-brainer. And again, it's free to use the site, so go and get signed up over at liberty.menu. There's some cool features. You can easily connect with others there. There's a bit of a social networking aspect to it if you want to use that. And then there's also commenting, so if you've got a review of a business, if you want to rate the business, you can do that as well. It's very, very handy. It's well-designed. It looks sharp. Liberty.menu. Go and check it out. That's liberty.menu. As we go to the phones, to the fun, Dave is in New York. You're on Free Talk Live. We need a little fun during this absolutely depressing story about immigration. Go ahead, Dave. Nothing's more fun than taking your calls.
Yeah, hi. How are you? I don't like being kept on hold.
I don't like being asked how I am and then just having someone keep spitting words out.
Because, when I call, I would like to be put on the air within the next 5 minutes.
You know what I really don't like is demanding callers who demand airtime that we graciously give to you here on Free Talk Live on dozens of radio stations at any moment in time, probably over 100.
You should try calling another radio show and seeing if he gets on the air within 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, he was on hold earlier. I mean, I will admit that earlier when we were in the midst of talking about Forkfest and Porcfest, we had Roger Paxton on. Right. For a portion of that time, Dave was on hold. So that is a true statement. But Dave, getting on the air and bellyaching about it doesn't make me want to put you on hold any sooner. You understand that, right? Like, I don't like being told what to do. And so if you call up and you try to tell me what to do, I'm less likely to take your call sooner rather than later. You understand that?
Yeah, but still, I don't like being kept. Nobody likes being kept on hold. This is how you lose callers.
Nobody likes being. We don't care.
No, I have called the show and been on hold for over a half an hour before.
Yeah, Dave, if you don't call in, it's not the end of my world.
And I'm a co-host sometimes, and I've called the show and been on hold for a half an hour.
So here you are now that you have the ears of our however many thousands of people or tens of thousands or hundreds, we don't know how many people are out there listening, but we've got radio stations all across the United States listening to you bitch and moan. What were you actually trying to call about?
I was actually trying to call about WWE, and there are some female wrestlers who I really don't like.
All right, now I feel bad right now because we don't actually have Daryl on the line with us here because
Tom.
He's a huge fan of WWE. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Dave, because Daryl is in the other room. Maybe Will, could you go and see if he's available? I know he's in the middle of a meeting.
I don't like Daryl.
Yeah, but Daryl knows about the WWE.
Well, no, what he needs to do is he needs to call in like a Friday.
Tomorrow. He could call tomorrow. Yeah. All right, we can't hear you if you shove the phone down your throat. So just take it out just a little bit away from your mouth and talk right into it, and then we might be able to understand you. Go ahead. What's your complaint about the WWE wrestlers that you don't like?
There's one Paige. I don't like her. She wears too much red lipstick.
Is it Paige or Cage?
P with a lot of P, like in Peter.
Yeah,
Paige.
okay.
Yeah, she wears too much red lipstick and all that black outfit. Makes her look like a WHO. That word, you already know what that word is. And on SmackDown, there's this one girl who looks like a freak. Looks like a freak. The dominant, whatever.
So you don't.
Would you say that to their face?
No, of course you wouldn't.
The what?
Would you say that to their face?
Yes, I would.
You should go say that to their face.
Yes, if I was sitting in the ring,
He gets arrested for stalking. We're all liable.
He did get arrested for something recently.
Who did?
Dave.
Crazy Dave from New York.
This guy.
Never mind. I take back my recommendation.
Dave, you got arrested for something recently, didn't you?
You know he's mentally unstable, and you encourage him to do something really retarded.
I take it back. I regret everything.
All right, so
I
Dave,
just don't like I just don't like Paige and WWE. She wears too much red lipstick and that black outfit. It makes her look, totally disgusting. And
okay,
you know,
Dave, you don't like
there's
lipstick.
another...
Got it. You don't like black outfits, red outfits. All right. So give us say something positive, Dave. What's your favorite WWE female wrestler?
What's her name? Charlotte Flair.
There you go. And what do you like about her?
Because she is the daughter of Ric Flair, and I think she should. I think
That's
Charlotte
not generally
Flair.
something that you say that you like about a lady. Is that you're the daughter of a man? That's if you ask somebody, what do you like about this girl? That's not typically
Because she's famous and she's a superstar, and I think that she should go up against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania.
That's the kickboxer, right? Ronda Rousey?
The one, the one that got worked. Oh my lord!
Is that right?
Oh my lord! I saw that fight, man. That girl punched that girl. She knocked Ronda Rousey's the bottom of her face around the other side of the top of her face.
All right. Well,
was bad.
Dave, here's what I'd recommend that you do. If you want to talk about WWE stuff with Free Talk Live hosts, best night is when Daryl W. Perry's on the air. He is a super fan. I bet you he's a bigger fan than you are, Dave.
Now we have I have a co-host on Call to Freedom that is a wrestling manager. He manages wrestlers, and hopefully we're working on trying to get him in to an event with Glenn Jacobs.
When is that? Because I like Charlotte Flair because she's famous. She has the title.
Right. Well, we're actually trying to get Tom into an event that's going to have Glenn Jacobs and Ric Flair, and we'll be the last hour of one of the episodes in a couple of weeks. Will just be him interviewing Glenn Jacobs and Ric Flair about libertarianism.
There you go,
in
Dave.
Charlotte.
How about you stay positive and talk about the things that you like in life rather than focusing on all the bad things? Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
I like to watch some very esoteric and strange YouTube channels.
Do you?
Yes, I do. So, I watched Dave's channel before when he used to review things. And I miss it because, there's one of my favorite new YouTube channels is this channel called The Report of the Week. And I'd love to see
Let's talk about that
Dave
coming up
copy
here.
that.
I want to know more about what you're talking about here in moments. And we'll continue with your calls and thoughts. And Dave does have a YouTube channel. It just doesn't have the old videos on it that it did back in the day because he just goes and randomly deletes them. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free here. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Skype username is lrn.fm. In the studio with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Will.
All right, back into your phone calls and thoughts. I also do want to let you know about Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. They've got a daily dispatch, which is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com as we go to more of your calls and your thoughts And then if we get the chance, the Holocaust survivor proposing a statue of responsibility. But first, it's Robert in West Virginia listening. Are you listening on the radio tonight, Robert?
Yes, I am.
All right. Welcome to Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, here in the past 20 years or so, I believe the school systems are dumbing down our kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll give you a good example of that. In the state that I live in, they stopped teaching the kids how to write in cursive. Now, what are they going to do when they have to sign their name later on in life if they're not taught how to sign their name?
I mean, you can sign your name however you want. So, I mean, if you want to have an X as your signature for your signature, you can do that legally, as I understand it. Now, I'm not a lawyer. That's not legal advice, but
my kids are in my oldest son is in 2nd grade. He can write in cursive, but that's because we sent him to a private Islamic school where they taught cursive.
Are they not teaching it in New Hampshire school?
Not that I mean, I don't know.
I sure hope that in a few
third
years
grade,
you don't have to sign your name. That would be what I would go
Third
with.
grade was when we learned it when I was a kid in school back in the 80s in Tennessee. We started multiplication tables and cursive writing in 3rd grade. But my son was doing that stuff at we sent him to a really good Islamic private school in Knoxville for the first until he was in 2nd grade, and we moved up here. And they were doing cursive writing, calligraphy, and multiplication tables in kindergarten.
I mean, I don't use cursive today. Do you?
I do when I sign my name to a check.
Excluding signatures. Do you use cursive in any other way? Robert?
Well, no. I mean, I guess, I have signed certain documents in cursive that they ask for, signature and like you said, checks and stuff.
I hate signing paper documents. I like
it's so old-fashioned,
digital signatures, when you just get online and it's like you type your name and that's the signature.
Yeah.
It's starting to... Well, there's also the digital ones where you sign with a pen at the point of checkout, and those have been so clunky and so bad for so long, but they're starting to actually get good, some of them.
Yeah.
There was one, the Square Cash card that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Square Cash is an app. It's a very popular app. It's one of the most popular money sending apps. It connects you to your bank account and it allows you to send payments sort of like PayPal, but it just comes straight out of your debit card. It's pretty slick. And they came up with their own debit card, and you actually sign on your phone screen with your finger, and it looks good because you're using the full resolution of your phone, and you can easily...
That's how I do. That's how I pay at CVS, actually.
With your finger on your phone?
Yep, they pay on your finger on
Wow,
the
that's
phone.
cool.
Yep.
And it looks good. Unlike the really clunky sign here things where it never looked like your signature. You know what I mean? Where you tried to make it look, and it just never even came close. But yet every single time you sign that, the credit card companies accept it. It's just they don't really care what your signature looks like. So, I mean, Robert, I totally agree with your statement that the government schools are trying to dumb people down. That's ultimately what they were designed to do. It's the Prussian educational model that's been in place for a couple hundred years, basically, and or 150 years or something like that. And it's designed to generate worker drones who don't question their life circumstances, don't question authority, don't question the state.
The national conversation right now is how we protect kids in schools, when it really should be about how we can protect kids from
the schools. Yeah.
Amen to that.
So, I mean, Robert, I'm totally with you on the dumbing down. I just think this is one of the least objectionable aspects of it that you brought up.
Okay. Hey, guys, I appreciate you taking my call. This is the first time I found your station. I'll make sure I listen to it every night.
Welcome, brother. We're here, and are you? What area of West Virginia are you calling from?
I'm in Charleston.
Okay, cool. So you're listening to WVTS out there, one of our longest-running affiliates. So welcome to the show, and call in anytime you want with any other observations. Always appreciate hearing from you. There's more coming up here with your calls and thoughts. Welcome at 855-450-FREE. But this is a topic we've talked about in great detail over the years here on Free Talk Live. And, of course, Jonathan Taylor Gatto is the go-to expert on these matters. He's getting pretty old, and it's getting hard to actually, to interview him, but he's got some great writings that really get into the details on the school system here.
You have great activists and scholars and academics who have kind of taken up his mantle as well, too. And not just in our own, like Hamza Yusuf, he's like the biggest Muslim scholar in the world. is a huge fan of John Taylor Gatto, reads his books, tells people at all these huge festivals he goes to, don't put your kids in public schools, read these books. Then you've got like John Bush and his family. You've got all these.
I just saw them, by the way.
You got all this stuff, and it came from this one, like now very old, man.
It really goes to show you, what one person really can make a huge difference.
Yep.
I mean, and you never know when you're out there talking to people, or whether you're on the radio or just person to person, you never know who you're talking to, where they are in their life, whether they were ready to hear the message that you were sharing with them, or maybe it took them a few times. Like maybe you were the first libertarian somebody ran across, but it was the third libertarian that really kind of started to persuade them. But the fact that they met you was important because they started thinking about those things when you brought them up to them. So just because the person you're talking to doesn't seem receptive at the moment doesn't mean they won't be receptive in 2 more months or 2 more years down the line. Maybe after something has happened to them. Maybe after their kid has gotten harassed by the administrators at the school, or maybe that individual has been harassed by the police on the streets, or whatever. People's circumstances change.
I used to be a border hawk.
Yeah, I believe it.
I was a border hawk. In 2008, 2009, I was a border hawk.
When'd you meet your wife?
We got married in 2009.
So that was a big change for you.
And by 2011, by 2013, I was an anarchist.
Right on.
Yeah.
And here you are
By
now.
2013 I was
and you never
just
thought you'd
burn
be in
the
New
whole
Hampshire
thing
either.
to the ground.
And you didn't see it coming that you'd be here sitting with us in
I
the studio.
didn't sign the statement of intent because I had no intent.
Which you're referring to the Free State Project's statement of intent.
Yeah, I didn't sign it because I didn't want to sign a contract I didn't really intend on, fulfilling. And then sure enough, life has a funny way.
Sure does. So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Johnson, let's change gears. This ICE story just keeps on going. I mean, the torture and the abuse, it's a long story.
It is.
But you've had a taste of it. You can go to theintercept.com to get the full story. I'll post it over on our Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, I think Johnson's story is saying, okay, this is what we're doing now, but this is what we should be doing.
Yeah, tell me, Johnson, what is the story here?
So this story is from Fee. It's about a Holocaust survivor who's proposed a different statue for the country other than the Statue of Liberty, a statue of responsibility. The article goes on to say, many Americans find their lives devoid of meaning. Up to 40% of Americans have not discovered a satisfying life purpose.
Really?
Without purpose, can anyone truly live a full, happy life? As Bill Murray discovered in his classic comedy Groundhog Day, life focused on hedonic pleasures won't lead to happiness. In his book, A Life on Purpose, Victor Strecher, a professor of public health at University of Michigan, reports on studies showing those having a strong purpose in life, on average, live longer lives than those with a weak purpose.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You got something to live for.
Right.
Duh. I mean, if you don't have anything to live for, then I can see somebody expiring sooner.
Well, this person says, having a meaningful life, Frankel believed, begins with taking responsibility.
Let's talk about it coming up here in moments. Also, if you want to share your thoughts on responsibility, because that is the other side of the coin, right? Liberty, you should also have responsibility. So I get where he's coming from. I'm interested to hear what the statue might look like. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Over the last 4 years, 3 of the biggest online precious metals dealers have gone bankrupt and their owners put in prison due to theft and fraud. Having previously purchased precious metals, can you be sure you purchased the right product? Did you receive proper advice? Or were you stung by one of these companies? Miles Franklin has been in business for 29 years without receiving any material customer or regulatory complaints ever. Maintaining an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and residing in Minnesota, the only state in America that regulates the precious metals industry, making doing business in precious metals with Miles Franklin the safest choice, bar none. Call us at 866-485-4346 and let us review your portfolio at no commitment whatsoever. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Get the peace of mind you deserve in working with the precious metals company with a reputation like Miles Franklin. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Miles Franklin Precious Metals, the name you can trust.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us here. Number 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. And with you in the studio here, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Will.
And also, don't forget to check out Johnson's website, libertyminded.com, which is where you can get the official Free Talk Live gear and merchandise and such, like hoodies and hats and T-shirts in both male and female styles and cuts, and a couple different color options.
Yep, that's true. Gold,
but it's
black.
It's more than that because you can get cool libertarian shirts as well.
I'm adding new stuff all the time.
Right. What are some recent additions over at libertyminded.com?
So the one that's popular is the I'm not on the spectrum. I'm libertarian. People
that's an autism
joke by that. Or a libertarian joke, depending on whether or not you know any.
Yeah.
The most recent one that could get you in trouble is I was reported to the FBI, but they just ignored it.
How's that going to get you in trouble?
If you're walking around telling people that you were reported to the FBI, they might think that you were.
I see.
Gotcha. One that hasn't gone anywhere, and actually I'm surprised by this. I put this design out, and actually I have not sold any, and I'm sad by it because I put some effort into this, and maybe maybe people are just waiting for spring and baseball season. I designed some baseball-looking shirts. I did like a team Demopublicans and team Republicrats.
Yeah.
And, I'm waiting for a little bit warmer weather and also, losing some weight. So I'm looking forward to getting myself both of those, actually, just to alternate.
Getting your own shirts.
Yeah, my own shirt just to wear around and, just because
that's how you start conversations, right?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
people, hey, where'd you get that?
Yeah.
LibertyMinded.com.
Yeah, and I want to just troll, Republicans and Democrats with a single shirt.
I love good troll shirts.
Yeah.
So, anyway, check out LibertyMinded.com for cool libertarian gear and some cryptocurrency related stuff as well.
That's right. And I accept a whole bunch of cryptocurrencies.
Yes, you do. What's the most popular right now? What's when people are paying with crypto? What's the number one?
Actually, Litecoin. Surprisingly, yeah.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll continue here. Johnson, tell us more about this proposed statue. There's a guy who's saying the United States needs the Statue of Responsibility.
Right.
And he's also saying that the people of the United States don't have any purpose. There was some statistic that he cited, like 40%.
Yeah, 40% of Americans have not discovered a satisfying life purpose.
I mean, that's sad.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is in other countries. Maybe it's just as bad elsewhere.
I would imagine, that's pretty easily. I think if you would think a lot of people, if you ask them, do you feel like you've discovered your life's purpose? And are you satisfied with it? Or if you ask them, are you satisfied with your life? And they say
Yeah, sure.
no, well, what do you feel like your life purpose is? I don't know.
I don't know.
So this guy
reproduce.
So this guy, Stretcher, maybe it's Stretcher, maybe it's Strecher. I don't know. It's
okay.
Strecher. I'm gonna go with Strecher. Strecher.
Striker sounds badass.
Striker.
Is it Strecker or
Striker? Yeah,
Striker.
German.
Striker. Okay, so observes that media frequently report on the debilitating health effects of tobacco use, a poor diet, inactivity, stress, and other lifestyle factors, but far less is written about the lack of purpose in life. Yet, it contributes at least as much to disease and death as do these other factors. For example, even small increases in a sense of purpose result in significant decreases in the risk of heart attacks and strokes. In 1946, not long after being liberated from a concentration camp in the heat of inspiration, psychiatrist Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning. This book is widely considered one of the most influential of all time. Frankl's reflections on his own and his fellow prisoners' suffering have helped tens of millions across the world take more responsibility for their actions in pursuit of a purposeful life. So he goes on to say a little bit more about this take responsibility thing. He says, having a meaningful life, Frankl believed, begins with taking responsibility. Observing starving prisoners who gave away their meager bread rations, Frankl wrote, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way.
Yeah, man. Totally true.
Yeah. If starving concentration camp prisoners can choose their attitude, what is our excuse for eschewing responsibility? Observe your thinking and how often you blame your attitude on other people and circumstance that didn't meet your expectations. Frankl would tell you that your blame is misplaced.
Absolutely. It's taking what I've heard referred to as the onus of control out of your hands and putting it in, I don't feel this way because of the way I am. I feel this way because of what you did to me.
Right.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always somebody else to blame rather than taking responsibility for your own feelings, your own actions. It's so powerful. It really is.
So he says taking responsibility is a precondition for finding purpose is a theme that echoes throughout man's search for meaning. Man, Frankl wrote, determines himself whether he gives into conditions or stands up to them. In other words, man is ultimately self-determining. Man does not simply exist, but always decides what his existence will be, what he will become in the next moment. Goes on to say, don't renounce your inner freedom. As purpose emerges when we take responsibility, so also, Frankl believed, inner freedom comes from taking responsibility. At this moment, are you renouncing your inner freedom? Frankl observed, every day, every hour, offered the opportunity to make a decision which determined whether you would or would not submit to those powers which threatened to rob you of your very self, your inner freedom, which determined whether or not you would become the plaything of circumstance renouncing freedom and dignity to become molded into the form of the typical inmate. So strongly did Frankl believe that taking responsibility is a precursor to finding purpose and freedom that he proposed a statue of responsibility be built on the west coast of the United States to complement the Statue of Liberty. By taking responsibility, we then have the opportunities to love, to do meaningful work, and to bear our suffering. A man who becomes conscious of the responsibility he bears toward a human being who affectionately waits for him, or to an unfinished work, will never be able to throw away his life, because he knows the why for his existence and will be able to bear almost any how.
Wow, this is much deeper than I expected this story to be.
Now, the striker, how is he involved in this again?
He's the guy who was in prison, right? Stryker?
Right, yeah.
Okay, well,
in a concentration camp.
Stryker is also the name of the guy who ran the newspaper that advocated the anti-Semitism of Hitler as well. His name was Julius. His name was Julius Stryker. He ran a newspaper called Der Stummer.
I don't think that this is the same guy.
No, I'm sure it isn't. But yeah,
I don't know if he's related. I believe.
Now, is he still alive, this guy, or is this like a?
Well, we're talking about two different people. So we're talking about this Viktor Frankl, who was in 1946. The guy who is a psychiatrist who was liberated from a concentration camp.
Oh, I thought Stryker was in the concentration. I'm sorry.
Viktor Stryker, a professor of public health at the University of Michigan.
So Stryker's proposing the statue, or Frankl was proposing the statue? I missed.
Frankl is the original person who proposed the statue.
But now Stryker's picking that up.
I believe so.
And sort of running with the idea.
Yeah.
And saying,
so yeah.
The government, of course, will never support this. I mean, the U.S. government does not want you to be responsible.
No.
It wants you to blame others for your feelings.
Yeah, it wants you to need government.
Yeah.
There's another great quote here. It talks about allowing happiness to emerge. Frankl's wisdom is a prescription for modern times. Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue, and only does so as the unintended side effect of one's dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do and go on and carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run. In the long run, I say, success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think of it.
Unless you are, connected with an agency of coercive force, you don't get to have success by screwing people over. The way you get success is by serving people and by giving people what they want. If you give people what they want, and like he's saying, forget about what that will end up doing.
Right.
You will end up being successful as long as you're giving people what they want. Right. It's pretty simple. It really is, but it's easy to get lost in some of that. Great stuff. Where was this story from, by the way?
This story is reprinted from Intellectual Takeout by Fee.
That's excellent. That's the Foundation for Economic Education at fee.org. And so check out libertyminded.com for more of Johnson and some cool T-shirts over there. Don't forget The Call to Freedom with Will Coley, 5 days a week on LRN.FM. And the website for Call to Freedom is
calltofreedomlive.com.
We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, don't forget the Forkfest forums over at forum.shiresociety.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,329 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $34, and the average price of Bitcoin is $10,894. Antiwar.com reports addressing the Iraqi parliament's call last week for a specific timeline for all foreign troops to withdraw from Iraq. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said there were no plans at present to leave Iraq and that troops would stay as long as necessary. His assessment was not couched as defiance, however, nor did he take the U.S. position that the deployment is permanent. Rather, he claimed NATO has gotten a written request from Iraqi Prime Minister Haider Abadi to keep troops in the country. Details on this written request are unclear, and indeed, its existence wasn't even made public until now. It is likely that a similar request exists for U.S. troops within Iraq as well, given how reliant on overseas deployments Abadi was during the fight against the Islamic State. The statement by Iraqi's parliament suggests they weren't apprised of this request either, and that inevitably raises the question of whether Abadi is empowered to unilaterally give permission for open-ended foreign deployments, a question that's likely to be raised among Iraqi members of parliament as the deployments get further and further past the end of the conflict with the Islamic State. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Bill Cosby will again go on trial to face rape accusations after attorneys from both sides attacked each other's credibility in a Montgomery County, Pennsylvania court hearing on Monday. Cosby's team, led by defense attorney Thomas Mesereau, whose former clients include Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, and Robert Blake, said the case against Cosby should be thrown out because the prosecutors allegedly destroyed evidence and encouraged Cosby accuser Andrea Constant to lie under oath. NBC News reported that issue was defense witness Marguerite Jackson, a former co-worker of Cosby accuser Andrea Constant. In a statement, Jackson said Constant told her she could extort a celebrity by accusing them of drugging and sexually abusing her. The prosecutor's investigators interviewed Jackson and were successful in getting Jackson barred from testifying during Cosby's trial, but Cosby's defense team accused them of destroying interview notes. Defense lawyer Kathleen Bliss said they went and interviewed her, so they knew that she completely repudiated Andrea Constant's statement accusing Mr. Cosby of misconduct. In response to the defense team's accusation, Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin R. Still said the defense attorneys are lying and that they should be thrown off the case due to their incompetent and unethical methods, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. After hearing both legal teams shoot each other's credibility, Montgomery County Judge Stephen T. O'Neill was unconvinced by either argument and decided to let the case proceed with the attorneys on the docket. The trial will begin April 2nd. Although dozens of women have publicly accused Cosby of sexual abuse, Constant is the only one who has a criminal case against him. That case ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury last June. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports Ford Motor Company said it will temporarily lay off 2,000 hourly employees at its Michigan assembly and stamping plant in the town of Wayne as the factories undergo retooling to build the Ranger pickup trucks and Bronco sports utility vehicles. The layoffs will start in early May and last through October, according to a notice filed by the number 2 U.S. automaker. Ford Manufacturing and Labor Communications Manager Kelly Felker said in an email, employees who are temporarily affected will receive approximately 75% of their take-home pay if they have 1 year seniority, adding the affected employees will all return to work either at Michigan Assembly or at another Ford facility. The announcement comes as sales of the Ford Focus small car currently built at the plant have slowed down. Ford had previously outlined a plan to retool the plant for the new Bronco SUV, but had not yet disclosed a specific schedule. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help CATMUF help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CATMUF, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CATMUF. Because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines, and after
the actual proposed bill.
Correct.
It's just in the we're talking about this stages, and probably he's trying to figure out if it's even legal to do what he's talking about.
Correct.
Which would be to carve out a special sales tax just for certain items, specifically in this case, violent video games. Now,
Yes.
maybe they can do that. I imagine the sales tax on things like cigarettes or alcohol might be a little bit different, or maybe they have special taxes just for those items. So maybe it would be in that category of vice or something.
I don't know. And I pulled up an article from Reason, and they say that it's creative but unconstitutional.
Because it discriminates against a certain class of item?
They say that video games, including ones that depict violence, are specifically protected by the First Amendment in accordance with Supreme Court ruling Brown v. Entertainment Merchants Association, 2011. Taxes based on content of First Amendment protected speech are generally held to be unconstitutional. Again, Supreme Court case, Arkansas Writers Project v. Ragland from 1987. And thirdly, they say some facially content-based speech restrictions are sometimes treated as content neutral when they are seen as targeting the secondary effects of speech, but the tendency of speech to cause harm when children view it and act on it, even if such a tendency is empirically plausible, is not treated as a secondary effect. And then they reference the cases of Laurelland Tobacco Company v. Riley, 2001, specifically about tobacco advertising, United States v. Playboy Entertainment Group, 2000, about sexually themed speech, And then they say listeners' reaction to speech are not the type of secondary effects referred to in the court cases.
But I would have to read what would get you an AO rating. Or no, he's talking about an M rating, not AO.
He's talking about M rating and above, so AO would also be text.
Okay, so he's probably okay for AO, not for M.
Why?
Because pornography is not protected speech. I would have to read the definition of AO, but I'm imagining most AO games are basically just going to be porn.
I had found that. Give me a moment to
but is it still...
find that again.
Because you can criminalize pornography, so I would assume that you could therefore have the... There's cases saying you can criminalize pornography. It would then therefore follow, though not necessarily legally follow, that you can have a lesser restriction on pornography.
Titles rated AO, adult only, have content that should be played by persons 18 years and older. Titles in this category may include prolonged scenes of intense violence and or graphic sexual content and nudity.
No, but
M does not include nudity.
Nudity, okay. Now, Melanie, so you're saying that pornography can be criminalized. By that, do you mean, like, you know,